And we are live with a fan blowing on me.
Well, portable AC.
Yeah.
Which
it's our little ice bucket fan. So let me see here. I'm gonna get over into the chat because that's not where I'm at.
oh god.
I know, and we have Andrew and Stephanie, Sandra y Blanca. Hola from Western Colorado. Wow. Hi. Hola. And
Nice.
Anna.
It's just the right distance. It doesn't make any difference.
Really?
So, yeah, for me.
What's it look like for me? Good. You like my new glasses? Aren't they cute?
They are.
Oh, that air feels good. Whew. Oh, so we had no topic for tonight. Not really. So we're just gonna do just chit chat
And whatever you guys want to talk about.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one of those.
We're both kind of tired because we didn't get hardly any sleep last night.
And speaking of that, we're gonna caution it right now. It's stormy again. Last night, we got a good storm in here. And that's one of the reasons we didn't get a lot of sleep is because the electricity went out. And
5 times.
And when you're all the way upstairs, it gets a little stuffy. So
it's hard to sleep. So
you know, the biggest issue last night was the first time the power went out. What?
Big water drops on the door.
It was one of those. There's few movies that both Gina and I instantly go, oh. And put the remote down and it's
we don't even care if they're an hour into the movie and we will stop and watch it.
It's one of those and so just we'll see who knows this movie by this line.
If you're going to shoot,
it's time to, no.
If you're going to shoot, don't talk.
That's right. When it's time to shoot, don't talk.
Don't talk.
So,
and it was on last night and we were just like, yeah. And then the power went out and we didn't get to see the ending of it.
Which probably saved us because both of us would have sat right there to the end of it and gone, okay. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. We tried to play Florida brand of hockey last night, and that's not our team. And it was one of those where we got to do what we do, and then we let them get inside our heads. And
it's my boss's team. He thought I was a little sour on him today because of what happened. I'm like,
hey, I mean, they took us out of our game, so that's.
It was sad. It was sad, real sad. It was embarrassing, actually.
And it wasn't a whole lot of fun to watch.
But they got really chippy. And the rain is starting. And so if we lose you guys because power flicks off again, we probably won't be back. So
and Lisa and Terry and Annie Vet.
Just so you know. Hey, yes, guys. How much rain do you guys get there? Well, we haven't been in Queretaro in the rainy season yet. So not really sure. But
it was a good storm. I mean, it was a thunderstorm last night. I mean, it was the lightning, the thunder, and the wind was blowing because we went upstairs and it had blown in the window. So, a little part of the floor was not wet. It had a good little
it was very
cover.
Wet.
Of course, the good news is time we woke up this morning, it was dry.
Yeah, and it did cut down some of the dust.
Here it comes.
Yeah. I don't know how loud it's going to get. I hope it doesn't. I have noise cancellation on here, but I don't know what it'll do with rain. Let's see. Ghost stars.
Hey. Yeah. They are looking for real. That's Ottinger has looked very good, and the addition of Mikko Rantanen has really, changed that team. Not that he's one of my favorites since he decided he did not want to play with my Canes and forced his way out. But
oh, Terry, I've seen that baseball hail in Oklahoma when I used to live in Antlers in Push County. So I've seen it. I've seen it break windshields on cars and totally pelt down our half a football field size garden that we had. And yes, it really was that big.
Well, and I mean, tire dealerships have lost their inventory
Yeah.
because they
get pretty big.
Yeah,
they do. And pretty damaging. In fact, it was during that period that I saw my first ever tornado, and I was absolutely fascinated with this. And my grandma, who grew up there, was absolutely irate with me and kept screaming for me to get down to the storm cellar. So, but it was cool. It was so far away. It was just cool, but not for the people getting hit by it.
And the thing is, it looks far away, and you don't know how long it's going to take to move from there to here. So,
well, when I'm 10 feet from the storm cellar, I think I can make it.
I'm just saying, those things can be pretty brutal.
And speaking of storm cellars, came up in discussion. What are those? Friends of ours on here, and Yvette and Arlene. Storm cellars, what they don't have those in California. Well, no, but if you live in Tornado Alley, you probably have one. And they could be anything from a glorified root cellar, with dirt walls or whatever, to like some really decked out. I mean, I've been in one that had a bar and a pool table in it. So I guess they figure if you're going to be sitting down there for a couple of hours, you should have some fun.
Yeah, but you could be in the dark. So, I mean,
well, but the whole point of the storm cellar is that you have backup lighting.
Well, if you got the generator, yeah. I mean, but my mom lives in Kansas and my sister lives in Missouri. So they're right there in the middle of it. And both of them got, basements.
And, you guys haven't gotten rain yet in Puerto Vallarta. Ooh.
It was 90 here last week for about 3 or 4 days, and it was
brutally hot, but it was dry, not humid.
Yeah,
humid just feels worse.
It wasn't Veracruz and it wasn't Huatulco, but it was still, get out of the shower and reach for the deodorant and go, oh, I need to wipe my pits one more time because all I'm doing is putting it on top of sweat. It just.
Look at this. Wow. It's Terry. Yeah, the nighttime ones are pretty awful. They're really awful. And I was living in Pennsylvania in a mobile home. Hello, tornado target. In the middle of a really big field. We had bought the ground. We were going to build on it eventually. And
on a hill.
No, it wasn't on the hill.
Well, the road was down here, so it was. Well, I mean, it wasn't a mountain, but it was elevated.
It was slightly elevated. The ground itself was pretty level. It just had a very slight grade going down to the road. And it was December. We had gotten hit with a heat wave for December. And we still had our Christmas lights up. I don't think Christmas had come yet. And we had the whole mobile home decked out in Christmas lights, like all of it. It was crazy. And
auditioning for Twister.
I know. And the way I woke up that morning, and I did have to go to work, but with the way I woke up that morning, it was still dark outside, and I was bouncing in my bed. My bed was bouncing up and down off the floor. And I could hear it was pretty noisy outside, and I opened up the back door, and it just whipped it out of my hands and put a big indent in the side of the trailer. And I kept thinking to myself, we're in a mobile home. I went and I grabbed my little girl at the time. She was still a baby. She was still in the crib. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I got to put a mattress on top of us or something. I don't know what to do. And then it ended. So sun started to come up and I went outside and I was about to get in the car and go to work. And I turned around and looked back. All of the skirting was gone. They found skirting from our trailer 5 miles down the road. All the lights were ripped up and gone. The trailer had been bounced so much that it was only sitting on the foundation rocks. Those
the pad, basically.
Yeah, it's like masonry block.
The footings.
It was only sitting on them by about an inch. And there was a lot of damage. Roof messed up. They decided to repair instead of just totaling it. And we found out later if we had just gone outside and pushed it off, they would have totaled it. Whatever. But
no,
it just so happens that same storm caused a very small, tiny, 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 tiny stick, not much thicker than a piece of straw, to drill a hole. My neighbor also had a mobile home, same idea, going to build a house. It drilled a hole through his outside window and broke the interior window. Happened in the dark.
Interior window?
Yes, there are storm windows.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So it drilled a hole through
Okay.
the outside window and
Right.
broke his interior window.
The
The power of a tornado.
see, that was the trailer HOA telling you didn't get your lights down quick enough,
Yeah, there
so
is
we're
no such
taking them
thing.
off for you. Just saying,
I know. It was still December.
Well,
Lights are up in December. I don't think Christmas had happened yet. I just remember it was unusually warm.
You ever known a HOA to be reasonable anyway?
There is no HOA out in the country.
I'm joking.
No HOAs in the
and no,
country.
Papa, nothing other than we have set the dates. That's
Where we at? Where? Oh, here. Oh, yeah. Just the dates. Nothing more to add. I went to the Facebook group page because I have administrative access to it, and I updated the date. But that's it, because most of the planning is coming from KJ and Craig. So we will defer to them, but at least we have the date of the settled down. So,
well, date and location, the two
well,
of
we
most
knew the
important,
location.
right? The two most important things.
Yeah, somebody sending me messages.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
You're not on call.
No, I am not on call. Oh, look, we had tornadoes too. Yeah, the above ground. You said about the bunker.
Yeah.
I know. Oh gosh, the humidity has started in Puerto Vallarta. Oh no. I hate the humidity so much. I never thought that they would be super humid. I wasn't aware of that. Why did we think the West Coast was not as humid?
I don't know why you thought that the West Coast wasn't going to be as humid, because any place by the beach is going to be humid, baby.
I got it from you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because we were talking about Baja and all that. And you said it's more arid.
The only place that we're going to hit that is on the ocean that's a little bit drier would be La Paz, and that's because it's a little bit inland and it sits on a bay. But when you're on the open water, no, you're going to get humidity, especially when you get the trade winds.
All right. Hi, folks from Costa Rica, House City. Wow, that's cool. I would do that if we had the opportunity. Probably makes for easier vacation.
Well, and you weren't working.
And I wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
That
would be difficult.
That makes it extremely difficult. That whole part there is where, with her setup and everything else and what she wants to do and everything, it's
I just dropped a bomb on everybody today and told them that when we're in Michigan, I'm going to do my best to work every day, but I have no guarantees that the internet will be any good where we are. Just saying.
Well, for a couple of days you'll be fine because you'll be at mom's, but
yeah, but we're going to be out in the country.
Well, I know out of the 10 days of working, 2 of those days will be at mom's, and one of those days will be traveling, and 2 of those days will be traveling.
Yeah.
So, and we're excited to be going back because we get to see everybody. I mean, get to see my mom, my sister, and all my cousins, and my aunt and uncle, and that's that part, and her sister. Because we get to spend 5 days with her. Right around where her sister lives, so we get to see her. Mm-hmm. Which, God, I don't think we've seen Donna in 15 years
at least. Well, she did stop through on
her
way.
That's right.
Briefly. She stopped through on her way back to Michigan the one time.
In Asheville. Yeah. So I hadn't been 15 years, only been about 6.
But I haven't seen my nieces and nephews aside from Kayla. I haven't seen them.
Since we were up there last time.
Since we were there. Yeah. So it's been a while.
And that would have been 2007.
Oh, my.
I'm just telling you, that's when it was.
Wow.
So
2007.
That's
Jeez.
That was when Courtney was still itty bitty, and now she's graduated from college.
Uh-oh. Hey, okay. It's hailing here big time right now. I can hear the thunder, and when I look out the window,
it's not.
It is dark.
Yeah, when I look from where we're at towards where Annie, Bet, and Arlene live in El Poblito, it's very dark over there. It's like, uh-oh. Yeah.
And I guess this is rainy season. I guess it's here now, huh?
I guess so. Andrew, we could take the Starlink with us. The biggest issue is
we're flying.
So. Well, yeah, we're flying,
and we got to bring it back into Mexico.
And that part just becomes, problematic. I mean, we still have the original packaging in the box and everything else. So, I mean, it survives shipping, which, shipping is about the same as putting it through baggage handling. But, we only get X number of bags that, even though we're flying first class all the way through, so we could bring some stuff back. There's quite a bit that's waiting for us at Mom's because we sort of just,
I've been shopping.
And we've got it. She just has a little corner in the bedroom that we stay in, and she just.
There's more stuff.
Here's this. Here's
Got me
this.
Some makeup and some jewelry, and I don't even know what. You got some shirts.
I did.
We got some Gringo gear.
Yeah, we did.
I don't even know what else.
And that doesn't even include making a run to the grocery store for some of the things that we can only get there. So
I just got sent a video of the hail. Woo! Oh,
Ike's.
Look at that.
Yep.
They got hail over there in El Pueblito.
Looks about like marble-sized hail that's coming down.
Dang. Okay. I'll watch more.
Yeah, I mean, the box itself, Andrew, is probably
it's too big to take.
It's about 3 feet long, 2 feet high by about 1.5 feet wide. It's a pretty big box.
And it's a little heavy too, because that dish is not light.
I know. I've had to climb roofs with it, so play the Spider-Man.
In addition to that, I just recently got an email update from Starlink that our plan, which by the way, we have not had our plan activated in over a year.
No.
They've changed plan types. And the one that we originally had gotten was one where they would allow you to turn it on and turn it off as you needed. It was like an RV plan.
Right.
Now it's lumped in with some other plan, unlimited mobile something, I don't know what. And the rate has gone from what we used to pay was about $70, $75 a month.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be $100 a month. So I will not turn it on unless we absolutely have to.
And so far, knock on wood, short of really, what places do we well, we needed it a couple times in El Tejar, but on a whole, the internet in El Tejar was the fastest that we've gotten all in all of Mexico. I mean, that was blistering speeds.
It was really fast
when it worked.
Yeah,
that was the problem. Valladolid, we needed it.
Yeah,
because I had to climb. I had to Spider-Man that wall to get up there.
We needed it in Progresso.
And Progresso, unfortunately, the guy was there doing some. I can't remember what he was doing, and he was already on the roof, and senor, and held it up, and he was
really. Oh
God, yeah.
You never told me that. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, no, he was already up there, and so I asked him if he put it up, and he was no problema,
Nice.
So
I wonder what he was doing.
They were repairing. I think there was an electrical line or something that because he went all the way up there and was pulling it from the pole and everything else, and so it was.
I don't think we really used it anywhere else. We used it in San Miguel. We did not use it in Merida.
We did not use it in Chiapas, either
no,
location.
I lied. We did use it in Merida. It was set up on the roof.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I don't know. Anyway, the point is we turned it off once we left
Progresso.
basically.
Yeah, we left
Because
Progresso
all the internet after that has been really
because
good.
Playa Car and Tulum and Tuxtla, Chiapas.
Well, Chiapas, no, we couldn't.
Well, Chiapas, but we couldn't get access no matter, we'd had to put a 250-foot pole up to get it past the trees.
The trees in the mountains.
And so we didn't have much of a choice that we couldn't use it there.
Yeah.
Huatuco, we didn't need it. Oaxaca, we didn't need it. We definitely didn't need it. Pueblo
didn't need it.
No.
Didn't need it here.
Didn't
the
need it
internet
here.
here is really good. Oh, wow. No, Suzanne, thanks for coming. You didn't miss hardly anything. You got the increase too.
Yeah.
Now, you guys had a home dish, whereas we had the RV dish. And in theory, they really are exactly the same.
Same dish.
It's just the programming.
Uh-huh.
So the home dish used to cost a little bit less than the RV dish. So I'm curious what your rate went up to, because they pretty much said ours was $100 a month. But I don't have it on, so it's
and they did the an ingenious little thing there. Annie, Matt, and Arlene did. They put it up on a pole up above their house, and
it's brilliant because it's the highest point in the neighborhood.
Yep.
So good deal. Yeah. I like Starlink. I don't have issues with it, except that because we had an RV account, we were deprioritized in areas that had a lot of usage. So if we were in a location, let's say we were in San Miguel and they had really high Starlink dish usage for people with home dish accounts.
Home gets priority.
Home gets priority and RV gets bumped down. So
and the reason being is home, they're not able to turn theirs off. The only way they turn it off is cancel the service. Whereas with RV, we could turn it on a month, off a month, on again.
Yeah.
And so, we paid more, but we're lower on the totem pole. So it was like, okay, that's just.
Yeah, it was the cost of flexibility.
Yeah.
Which is never free.
No.
Oh, my goodness. This past Saturday, I had a birthday party, and Arlene and Annie-Vet hosted, and I got this really, really pretty flowy dress from Nova something.
Fashion Nova
that Annie-Vet told me about.
The only reason I know is because as soon as she did some searching on it, it's showing up on everything that I open up as the ad. He's
getting all the Fashion Nova ads.
Really?
The funny thing is like most of the clothes that they sell are for ladies with really big booties. So they cater to the big booty babe. And the clothes are very nice and they're not that expensive. So this dress was like really, really pretty. And I would have paid more than what I did for it, but it ended up costing me less than $40 for this dress, a whole maxi dress. And it was about 6 inches too long. So Annie-Vet and Arlene, Annie-Vet helped me pin the dress to the right length so that it could get hemmed. And they took it over to this guy who, and this is a difficult material to work with because I was going to try to do it by hand, but I just don't have the time. And he charged about $20 to do the hem. He did a really good job.
Yes, he did.
Perfect length. So I wore this beautiful dress that I loved. And we did karaoke. Of course we did. And I made up this drink that's kind of like an orange float or a creamsicle with some booze in it. So that was my boozy drink of the night, was like a dirty creamsicle. And we had pizza, and the karaoke was fun because I figured out how to make my own karaoke files, and they look better than the ones that I got from the karaoke file making program. I just used the same program I use for our videos, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So I actually debuted a new song on Saturday. And what I did was I decided I was going to go international, and I did a song in English, Spanish, French, German, and then Scottish Gaelic or Gaelic.
5 different languages.
The Scottish Gaelic one was really hard to learn because, boy, the words do not look like they sound. But I know the song really well anyway, melody wise. So that was cool.
She could have screwed it up and none of us would have had a clue anyway. I mean, it was
Probably.
probably no. I mean, all of us were just sitting here going, what? I mean,
if you guys like folky, upbeat folky, like they kind of take old walking songs and they modernize them a little bit. Check out a band called Capercaillie. I love Capercaillie. They're actually on tour right now, of course, in Scotland. So I'll never live to see them, but it was fun. I've been wanting to do that song in a really long time.
well, and if you really think about it, how many hit songs come from old music?
Oh,
La
quite a few.
Bamba.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
quite a few.
Whiskey in the Jar
Yeah.
from Thin Lizzy. So I mean, you take an old song and you just put it to a new.
And I made a karaoke song for him too that you cannot get in karaoke.
True.
A really good one. My favorite Doobie Brothers song.
Off our favorite Doobie Brothers album.
Yeah.
I mean, off of Captain and Me, Clear as a Driven Snow. So
I love that song.
which is, you look back and you go, amazing how a bunch of potheads in their 20s wrote this song. I mean, it's you listen to the rest of the album and then all of a sudden here comes this one and you're just, what? Where'd that come from? I think Ted Templeton had a lot to do with putting that together for him.
Went from 1100 to 1260-ish. That's not too terribly bad, but then again, like I said, you guys had the home plan, so you were already paying a little less than I was. Mine used to be typically around $75. So
I'm hoping those numbers are in pesos.
They are.
They
are.
Okay, that's
ours is pesos too, but I just already have.
I know. I mean, that's
figured in my mind.
$63 a month. That's still a hell of a lot better.
Well, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for ours are going up to basically 2,000 pesos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, ours are going up to 2,000 pesos because we have that roaming. But let's see. What have you guys been doing this past 2 weeks? Oh boy. Well, we picked up our glasses.
Mm-hmm.
We each
got went and applied for your bank account.
Oh yes, went to apply for an account at
Banamex.
That took a good part of an hour, and because I own my own consulting business, I had to fill out basically all the business paperwork.
Because we didn't really want to list who's sending her paychecks.
Well, the truth of the matter is I am a contractor.
Well, yes, you are.
So I get subcontracted. So that's fine. I have a business. I was able to provide a business website and all that jazz. And I have an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
I just got done getting my annual report completed, and they'll do my.
So I mean, instead of just the basic paperwork, it was, oh, you're self-employed.
Yeah.
Here's a whole nother set of paperwork.
I don't even know, 12 pages of paperwork. Of course, it's all in Spanish.
And fortunately, Annie, Vet, and Arlene were there, and it reached a point where, I was outside having a cigar talking to Arlene, and Annie Vet comes out and goes, "This is above my pay grade in Spanish. Your turn." And so Arlene had to go
was struggling with some of it too, because technically they were asking a lot of business type questions and tax type questions, and I had to start taking photographs with Google Lens
and then translating so that we could see what it is I was filling out. So all of that took a little over an hour, I want to say. And then even then, I don't know if I technically have the account or not, because it takes about 20 days to find out if you have the account. And then there's different types of accounts and different minimum deposits with different frequencies and things like that. So it's a little complicated. And then last 2 weeks we've been doing our hockey bit, because
the hockey games.
Canes have been kicking butt, and until last night. And then we have 2 converted Caniacs in El Pueblito that we when we go over there to watch hockey, which we do, and we sit out there, we watch the hockey, and we've now reached the point where, we have to order a pan pizza from Pizza Hut because that's tradition if we're watching the Canes, and there is no, alcohol doesn't start till the game's over. Got to drink my Coke during the game. It's not that we're suspicious, but they're superstitious. But,
we were going to have hamburgers and hot dogs. And then it was no, there's a hockey game, so we want pizza.
Well, and then there wasn't a hockey game, but then it was hot and humid and everything else. So we went, we're just going to order pizza anyway. So,
see that dress. Thank you, Annie. That dress was really pretty. I don't have the va-va-voom body that the models, of course, have. So, it doesn't, I don't fill out the top very well. And I have menopause baby looking belly and all that stuff, but it was still a very pretty dress.
No, it was very pretty.
So, very
nice colors and everything
really
else.
Nice colors and nice style. It didn't show all my fat rolls off too much, I didn't think. But it was cute. And thank you everyone for the birthday wishes. Oh gosh, let's see. Oh, you were at Pearl Jam.
No.
Oh, Pearl Jam. I never got to see them.
Pearl Jam had a special place in her heart, and then it went to a different place in her heart, when they canceled, 24 hours before the show in North Carolina.
I bought tickets to see them in Raleigh, and I can't possibly drive home from Raleigh. So of course I also got a hotel room, and so I had a hotel room. I went to go see Steve Hackett the night before, and the next day was going to be Pearl Jam. It just worked itself out that way.
And you had friends flying in?
I had friends flying in and things like that. And 24 hours before the concert, they canceled the concert because they couldn't possibly play a show in a state like North Carolina where they were discriminating against people's choices of bathrooms.
And we're not going to get into the whole, because we could be here for an hour, and A, it's political, which guys know we don't
want to do. Yeah.
And B, it was really a whole thing was pretty stupid because it's right back to where it was before. I mean,
the short version of that story is, what they tried to do was illegal. I'm just saying what they tried to do was illegal, number one. And number two, the news did not report the full story.
No. And
most people did not get the full story.
And like everything nowadays, it got blown out and a part went to the internet, and then it just exploded. Yeah. And they had that much of the story and that much was missing. And so Pearl Jam ends up canceling it because they just felt it was the right thing to do. In the meantime, there were people literally getting off the plane in Raleigh that had no idea the show that they flew to. The concert was on when they got on the plane, and by the time they got off the plane, it was off.
And I just thought it was the biggest bullshit move in the world. And they were like, everyone's tickets are going to be refunded. And I'm like, that's fine. How much do you think it costs for people to buy airline tickets? How about the expense of the hotel rooms and all this other stuff that a lot of people got put out of a lot of money because of crap. So
anyway, Pearl Jam's.
I like Pearl Jam, but they pissed me off. Sorry. And I do like Pearl Jam, and I really was looking forward to it, but oh well. What's your car insurance run?
About $500 a year.
Less.
I know. I mean,
the different policies that we looked at are between $4 and $5.
Yeah, $450, something like that. And we got a pretty good comprehensive policy that we've looked online and boom, checked them all out, compared them, and compared to what we were paying in the U.S., we were sitting here going, wow, this is going to be a real tough decision because, I mean, we're paying now for a year about 1.5 of what we paid for a month.
Yeah, I think it's just because
of course we went
litigation in Mexico is so much less than it is in the U.S. And so when you have litigation like there is in the U.S.,
Oh,
everybody's got to pay for that.
Yeah.
So that's why they're so high.
Another road we're not going to go down, but yeah.
I know. Hello, Lambden. Hey, good question, Anna. Why did you have to do all that with the bank? Are you claiming for earning money in Mexico and paying taxes? No, not at all. It's just their policy.
They want to know who you are and how you're making money. And it's a different,
if you deposit more than, I think it's 15,000 pesos a month into your account, they will report it to SAT to let them know you have all this money coming in. And you may be inquired as to the source of that money and where it's going out to. So they're very careful on watching how your funds come and go.
It's the same thing that they do, in the U.S. for trying to keep people from laundering money. And that's exactly what this is they don't want people being able to take, narco money, put it in the bank, and then pull it back out and go, it's clean now. So it's just their way of monitoring the cash flow. And the other part of that is, it's really not going to change the way we bank per se, because the majority of what we do is still with Charles Schwab, and that's going to remain the case. But this is a way for us to, in the few instances that we've needed it, where we've needed a Mexican debit card or a Mexican credit card, and we haven't had it, that, keep some money, keep 10,000 pesos in there. It's only $500, but if we're stopping at, automoteles and they don't take the US and, we're short,
pesos,
it's like, here,
yeah.
Because that happened to us once, and the young lady was nice enough to stand there while we were giving her every coin we could find. And finally she just went,
just go.
I
think it would be a good idea to have one, maybe to try to start to establish some credit and things like that. And it's an alternative payment method if we ever need one.
Well, and the other part of that also is to take advantage of, some of the retailers down here. You can get 24 months, seen interest. So, if you're gonna give us free money to play with for 24 months, okay, we can do that.
On some of the purchases,
yeah.
True.
So because you never know when all of a sudden you're going, oh, I need to make a $300 purchase. Well, if you're going to give it to me to spread it out over 12 months with no interest, okay.
I guess so. Ooh, the wind is whipping.
Yes, it is.
God, it is so dark over here. Oh, hey. I too smoke cigars a lot. Does Cigar International deliver down there, or do you buy local?
They cannot ship across. You can't get cigars from the U.S. shipped across the border. I had two places I used to deal with in the U.S. One was a little local cigar shop, and the other was, Famous Smoke out of Easton, PA.
Oh, before that it was JR's.
And before that, before JR's went belly up. And so I, used to use, because what was it, the Octopus Garden?
Yeah.
And they were a local place, and the manager of one of the stores that was really close to us, she really took good care of me. And so I always prefer helping out the locals if I can. And so, I probably spent, I don't know, $5-10 more a month buying them from the Octopus Garden than buying them from Famous Smoke. But she liked to go into Octopus Garden because they had all the smelly shit, the incense and
candles.
and oh, that's right. Oh, fun stuff for the wall. They really did have some really interesting stuff.
It was
in
a head
there.
shop.
It was a head shop, and but they on this particular location, they actually put in a very expensive humidor. I don't know why, but because they were pulling some cigars through there, which I was probably one of the biggest contributors to that. But no, and I asked, what was her name? Katie? I think it was Katie. Christy. I asked Christy because we were going to go when I turned 60 and we were coming down here. And I asked her, I said, can you ship me some cigars in Mexico? And she went, you cannot ship across the border. And so, fortunately, when we moved down here, I probably had, I don't know, 300 or 400 cigars that I had buried in the middle of and was just going, if we get caught, we get caught. But
you did?
And they just went, and Ernie got us through the border and we were good. And
because we were on road.
We were driving.
Driving. It wasn't the airport.
Oh God, no, I wouldn't do that in the airport because, we got stopped one time at the airport and we claimed 50 cigars because it was 25 per person. That was it. And they counted each and every cigar and even opened up my cigar saver to make sure I wasn't trying to sneak that 51st one inside the cigar saver. So but no, when we drove across the border, I had quite a stash. Got down here, got lucky and found Block Chazladro, which the Fabrica is about 30 minutes from where we're sitting right now, and maybe 45, whatever. And, Virginia and Mauricio, they take great care of us, or me. And then when we're traveling and we're not in the area,
not me,
Mauricio delivers it when I need an order. He takes them, Danny, Vet, and Arlene. We wire the money over to them. They pay Mauricio. Mauricio drops it off, and then they ship it to us. So ship it to me. So, I just get, 300 cigars about 3 to 4 times a year. So, and he thought I was selling them. He didn't realize that was, 1,200 cigars that I'm smoking.
But you were an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I want to move to Queretaro, but would like to know how you like it there. Well, it's in our top list.
Every time anybody asks me, I had a couple people ask this week, what do you think it's going to be? And I always just give them, my top 3. And ever since we have gotten down here, Queretaro has been in the top 3, and it has never even come close to getting dropped out of the top 3.
Yeah, it's always been on the top of the lists.
Some of the things that are great about Queretaro, love Centro.
It's a lot of European culture.
It's very Spanish in Centro. The Spaniards did a lot of things that were not good, but then they left some great stuff. And Centro here is one of the great things that they did leave. It's a very interesting Centro. It's spread out, unlike a lot of the Centros. I think Merida would probably be the closest Centro I could think.
There are several Jardines just blocks
all
apart.
over the place, and there are short walks from one another.
I don't feel that the vendors are overly pushy.
Oh God, no.
And
no.
The food, Queretaro gets trashed for their food options, but I personally feel that every place we've ever eaten in Queretaro was very good. But after having traveled now to other places, I can understand why.
The reason Queretaro gets that reputation is they don't have their own identity. They sort of borrow a little bit. You can get Oaxacan food. You can get Yucatan food. You can get, all these different types of food here, and they don't have their own unique palate. They borrow from all of Mexico. And when we first got here, we couldn't understand why everybody's busting on it, because we were like, well, this is good. This is good.
It is good.
Now that we have traveled, 14 other cities, okay, it ain't Oaxaca. And then, it's not Puebla.
It's not Puebla.
It's not Merida.
It's not the Yucatan.
Yeah. Each one of those has its own unique spin on food. And, food wise, I'm sorry, until something beats it, Oaxaca is hands down the best food that we've had in all of Mexico.
Pretty darn good.
And I'm not a foodie.
No, and you were a big Yucatan fan.
I still am.
Yeah.
I mean, I can eat cochinita pibil till the cows come home.
And sopa de lima.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff. So the food wise, but it is a good mix and it's a good blend of foods from all over Mexico.
Now, things that we don't like about
temperature wise and climate wise, it's you don't have the humidity that we have encountered both Huatuco and the east coast of Veracruz and Merida and Progreso and Riviera Maya. It is a little elevated, but I don't think that the elevation has really affected either one of us.
No. It's dry and dusty most of the year.
It's not Pueblo. Where the one thing that we loved Pueblo, but the one thing there that kicked my butt was the ash that comes out of Popo. And so because there's a lot to like about Pueblo as well. Boy, that ash was. Whew.
Queretaro is growing pretty rapidly.
It is.
As a result of that, the rents have been rising at a pretty fast pace in Querétaro compared to some other cities. I still don't think they're horrible, but if you were local living here, they would be to the point of just about pricing people out, which is not cool.
And it's an explosion of growth. I mean, they're building more houses here than they are in Tulum, which makes sense because there's more people here than there are in Tulum. But I mean, as we drive around everywhere we look, if there's property, something's going up, and so they're trying to keep up with it. I mean, the western edge is all the way up against the state line of Guanajuato.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strong. So, and they're building, northeast, south, and I think west, they've just pretty much gone as far as they can.
Having the airport so close by is a benefit.
Mm-hmm. But it's not in the city.
No.
But it's accessible by the Queretaro very easily.
I think that there is a lot of modern conveniences here, if that's what you need. So you can get things.
You can get all the big box.
You can get all big box stores. You can get high-speed internets and all that. The biggest issue, I would say, is a lot of the shopping malls are going to be, well, until they build more down south, most of the shopping malls are north of the city, and the highway traffic can be pretty bad.
Well, from where we're at right now, which is basically Mirador Milenio 3 area, which is on the east side of Centro, you get out here to 45 and start wanting to go up to El Refugio or Ikea, to where Costco is, and 2 or 3 of the malls are up there. Even if you just want to go to the Arch, the Aqueduct, it gets backed up there every day. Yeah. Going south, that has not yet been as bad of a backup.
But south is expanding.
South is expanding rapidly. I mean, that's where they are putting the second Costco is to the south side of Querétaro. So it is growing in the whole city. I mean, it's one of the major industrial hubs as far as home offices, especially, for a lot of the Kia Mexico, Querétaro, Nissan Mexico, Querétaro. So it's a lot of Mexican national headquarters.
I think Daewoo has a headquarter here. So there's Japanese, Chinese, and Korean business business headquarters and growth. It's becoming very cosmopolitan in a lot of ways. But again, like I said, you
get in the Centro, and you could not tell.
No, not at all.
And you can drive 5 minutes outside of Centro.
You can tell when you're outside of Centro. Yeah, you could tell.
You get to Avenida Constituciones, and you suddenly start going, holy crap, I got to turn on this. And you know, there's some traffic there, but so everything that you want is here. And to be honest, we have never felt unsafe here in Queretaro.
True.
I mean, and we've been in Centro before
Multiple times
late at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we're talking 11, 12 o'clock at night, and we're still in Centro, and never, you know, people all around, and it's still, you know, it's great. So
we like it. We like the temperature and the dryness without the humidity. The dust is a bit much to handle, and if you're somebody who is sensitive to fine particulate matter in the air, it might not be good for you. It's just one of those things you just have to try it and see.
And part of that, I think, is depending upon where you are in the city. Like right where we're at right now, it's construction right across the street. And so they're kicking up dust every day. I mean,
gosh, we were driving home Sunday.
When we came home Sunday,
oh my goodness,
from Arlene and Annie Betts, you know, we take the Queretaro and then just work our way through. And I'm like, I looked at her and I went, "Is that rain?" And she went,
"Nope, that's a dust cloud."
She goes, "That's dust," and it was just like.
And when we got into it, it was like gray brown fog. That's how dusty it was.
Yeah,
it was like driving through fog.
Yeah.
Yep. It reminded me of those pictures of the Dust Bowl when you could see it rolling in.
Yep. And then we were like, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't feel like cooking when we get home. So I'm going to get out and get us some, you know, pollo feliz. And got out and boom. It was like I just got sandblasted in the eyes and face because the wind was whipping and it was blowing that dust particulate everywhere. It was just, oh.
And those were the yummiest mashed potatoes I've had down here.
Mashed potatoes, yeah.
Mashed potatoes. They were very good. Pollo feliz.
Pollo feliz.
Yep, they were good. Okay, so AC/DC in Nashville. That is really cool. And we saw them once too. It would have been even better if we could hear them.
Well, I saw them in the Back in Black tour.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the last time I saw them. We were in a venue that the sound wasn't set up right, or the venue wasn't adequate for their type of sound because we were up pretty high in those. And
it wasn't just. It was the opening act, and it was AC/DC. You could understand the music, but you'd be damned if you could understand a word anybody was saying.
You couldn't hear them talk. You couldn't hear them talk. You couldn't hear them sing. The only thing we could do was tell what song it was because of the music.
Well, it's pretty easy. It's AC/DC, the power chord.
I do have to say their intro to the show was really, really impressive. That's the one that had the train. Yep. There was a train. Oh man, that was so cool. So I think it'd be really cool.
Well, and that was still Malcolm was still alive then. So
yes, it would have been fun if we could have heard them better. Oh no, you're going to talk about my queen. Stevie Nicks canceled on you. Oh, and you traveled to Belgium. Oh my goodness. Oh, Mike, I'm so sorry. She's my queen. I used to tell people I would be gay for Stevie Nicks. I also used to say, you know, she's my wife, but she doesn't know it. I used to dress up like a Stevie girl to go to Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks concerts, to the point that it looked so darn good that people would ask to take their picture with me at the show.
She was at work one day. She had front row tickets to Chrissy Hine and Stevie Nicks.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like,
front row.
She goes, I don't have time. I got to get flowers for Stevie. Can you stop and pick me up some flowers for Stevie? And so I go in, I need some flowers. And the lady who's helping me goes, well, who are they for?
Stevie Nicks.
I went, Stevie Nicks. And she goes, sure. I'm like, no, you don't understand my wife. She is going to Stevie Nicks tonight. She's front row. She has to take flowers. And she looked at me and goes, you're serious, aren't you? I said, trust me, next time we're in, I'll bring her. She'll tell you. Yeah, these are flowers for Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to get her the flowers and go through all that, and then she had to take them back to the car.
No, I didn't have to take them back
to the car. I had to put them on a table.
They made an announcement right at the entrance of the venue as we were going in that Stevie was not going to be able to accept any gifts that night, and that if we would leave them in a pile that they designated, what was happening is she had back issues, and she wasn't going to be able to bend over like she does. She has a song, and she'll just go along the whole front of the row and just take everybody's teddy bears and flowers and everything. And she wasn't able to do that. So, yeah. So I kept one flower. I kept one.
And sang the audience with Chrissy Hine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Chrissy Hind opened up, and she was doing Brass in Pocket and stuck the mic right down in my face, and I got to sing a chorus of Brass in Pocket myself to about 18 or 19,000 people. It was pretty fun. Yep. Oh, and of course I had like the top hat with the feather and all that because I'm doing my Stevie thing, right? And when Stevie came out, I gave her the big old heart hands, and she smiled at me. She looked right down at me. She heart-handed me back, and I thought I died. So yes, it sucks that she didn't go to Belgium. I'm really sorry. That's an expensive trip to make. So yeah, I get that. And in Andrew, so you only paid $8 through vet tickets.
Oh.
Wasn't that bad of a loss. I bet it was a good show. I've been waiting to see them for a really long time. So that probably will never happen now. And they do charge a lot of money. I remember going to see My Morning Jacket.
Thank you, Eagles.
Yeah. Well, this is even.
No, I'm talking about for all the prices of tickets going up.
It's even worse now post-COVID, because before COVID, I could get a My Morning Jacket pit ticket, and it would be less than $50. And those pit tickets now are like $150, $200. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw the Eagles on Hotel California tour for $12.50. Now $12.50 is still a price for a nosebleed seat, but there's no decimal point now. It's $12.50.
Yeah. Hi, Ruby. State Farm charges me $900 every 6 months for 2 cars, full coverage.
That's not horrible.
I mean, for 2 cars, but that's $1,200. That's $1,800 a year, though.
That's $150 a month for 2 cars, $75 a month per car. So that's.
I mean, that's not horrible, but yeah, I mean, you can't even compare prices with U.S. auto insurance. And
I mean, it's one lump. Not having to break it down because it's just like, that's what you want. Here, just take it.
Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me that this is tomorrow, Annie.
Yeah, since we're talking about music. I'm sorry. Terry Kath ain't playing that. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I love Chicago. I've seen them so many times. So when I found out they were coming to Queretaro, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Why are they coming to Queretaro? But hey, I'm looking forward to it. Take a gander outside. The rainy season.
Oh yeah, I keep looking because the wind is howling. I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it is just howling out there right now.
But it's not raining yet. That's the crazy thing.
No, but it sure is dark over there.
I know.
I think it sounds like Arlene and Annie Better getting all of it.
Hey, nice to know about the 50 cigars. That's true if it is still true.
It is. It's 25.
Is it? Okay.
25
per
person, no matter how long you're here. And depending upon where you're at, you can like if I didn't want to drive to Block Chazadro and I was needing cigars, I could go to HEB, and HEB has their own humidor set up, and they're really pretty proud. They run 250 to 300 pesos per stick and up, whereas what I get the Coronas from Natural Coronas from the factory, and 60 pesos a stick. So
I hope that glass door doesn't blow in on us. This door is like vibrating.
It is. It's moving.
It's shaking over here.
So,
and the wind is talking. Okay, our top 3 locations. I'm going to guess that we would.
You pick your 3 and I'll pick my 3. I know 2 of the 3 are going to be identical. Unless you've changed on me. But.
Well, San Luis Potosi, Queretaro, and I'm not even sure about what number 3 is because there's a bunch that are kind of like all
lumped together.
But
I know your 3rd would probably be Pueblo.
I would say Puebla. Yeah, my 3rd would be Puebla, and if you notice, those are all centrally located. But I like them all so much. Now, I also like what he's probably going to say, Huatulco.
That's my 3rd.
My problem with Huatulco is merely the humidity and the heat, nothing more. Otherwise, I loved it there. And I love the beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. So, yeah, very cool.
And the vibe in that city is, the only downside of Huatulco is that you don't have what you have here and in San Luis Potosi as far as major box stores and an abundance of them. I mean, you have a Chedraui, you have an AutoZone. There's a Soriana, but it hasn't exploded yet in the retail. It is going to be my take on Huatulco is it is going to become Tulum West. That
is what you've been calling it, right?
Yeah.
And so that leads right into this next question. So what do we think about San Luis Potosi? We loved it there enough that we will be going there next for our 2nd visit to that city, just because we didn't feel that we were there long enough to really, really, really give it a fair assessment. Well, we won't go into that.
But no, that's your reason. Mine is the churros.
Oh, churros. He wants those churros.
They knew me so well at that churro stand.
Jardín de Tequisquiapan. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even ask. I mean, it reached the point where I just walked up and they were already making my churro. So, yeah.
And what you probably don't realize is I asked him, have you ever had a churro before? And he said, no. I said, let's get some churros. And then he was addicted.
And here's the thing. My first churro was at that stand, and I haven't found one better yet.
We've tried other ones.
Yeah, I have not found one better than that one.
I have to admit, I think they had the best. Other ones have been good, but
they're not
quite.
That. Yeah.
It was a relleno, so of course they would cook it, they would poke a hole in it, and then they would fill it with whatever filling you wanted. And it was really, really light and crispy on the outside and just very slightly tender in the center.
And perfect amount of sugar on the outside.
Yeah, they were very good.
It wasn't overly in just that hint of a little cinnamon in there with the sugar. I mean, it's just like.
But how about the rest of San Luis Potosi outside of the churro stand?
There's more to San Luis Potosi?
There really is, yes.
Oh.
I was actually really impressed and I was actually shocked a little about how very European Centro looks in San Luis Potosi. And then I realized that there was a lot of French influence, which made sense. It's a much bigger city than I thought it would be. Churches are just beautiful. Centro, walking around Centro is quite lovely. I can't think of the name of the main street that they shut off for bicycles on the weekend.
Yeah,
but
let's say Veranez or something.
I don't know, but that street is lined on both sides with really wide sidewalks that were some of the easiest to walk, foot travel wise, of any city we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
We really liked the neighborhood that we were in. We were very close to Jardín de Tequisquiapan, and we had everything we really needed in walking distance. We occasionally would hop in the car and either go to an H-E-B or a Costco, but we could have just as easily just walked down the street a couple blocks to the tienda, to a little.
Mm-hmm. Which we did.
Yeah.
I mean, carry that Garifone back and then up the
We were
stairs.
in walking distance to some really very nice looking hospitals and medical buildings. I don't know. I mean, it was just a very pleasant stay, but I personally really only got to experience it for about 2.5 weeks. And
a lot of what we said about Queretaro also applies to San Luis Potosi. You get into the central area. The central area they are different. They're very different. While Queretaro feels very Spanish, Centro San Luis Potosi feels very French. And they have in the central area of San Luis Potosi, there are more upscale shops and stores that you encounter than what you do in Centro Queretaro. But they're both easily walkable. They both have a lot of really good areas for culinary, for music, things like that, museums. So no, there's a lot to like about SLP. The airport was real simple when I had to take Gina over there.
It was a nice airport too.
I mean, I was already back at the apartment and pulling into the garage, and she's like, "Morning now," and I'm like, "Going to bed now." So I mean, it was pretty close, pretty simple.
There's areas that we didn't get to see. We didn't get to see anything of that really large park, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. Tangamanga Park or something. So we decided we needed to go back. So our next stay after this is going to be a couple of months more in San Luis Potosi, because I really felt strongly that we needed to give it another shot and just stay a little bit longer, because there was a lot to like there.
And this time we're still close to, so I can go get my churros. Well, I mean, we're still like 4 blocks away from the
Give me those churros.
But we're actually this time going to be able, if we want to walk to the HEB, because it's only about 8 blocks down the street the other way. So 4 blocks to the park, 8 blocks to the.
I don't know if I want to walk 8 blocks.
I didn't say we would. I said we could.
Because that means we're shopping, which means
I mean taking stuff home.
Yeah.
I mean, but so it's very simple. It's similar. You have an inner city part, the central area that's surrounded by the houses, and then you have the retail ring and everything else that's going around it, which is very similar to what's happening here in Queretaro. So
there are a lot of museums there that we never got to visit. So I'm looking forward to that. And I want to go back and visit some more of the churches.
Yeah, haven't found a vinyl store there like you did here. And just pointing out.
Yeah, I know. My records are all in storage, but he's telling me to go check out the record store.
I didn't say that. I said you haven't found a vinyl store.
No, I'm sure that San Luis Potosi has a record store somewhere.
She doesn't know anything about any place else in all of Central Queretaro where it's at. Except for she knows where the vinyl record store is.
I know where Azul is. I know where Azul is. I have known where Azul is since the first time we were here. I don't know.
Where are we at? Record store's up there.
Okay,
then I know where we're at. It's like, no, we have not. We spent the night in Aguas Calientes.
Priorities.
That was when we made the drive down. We drove from Monterrey to Aguas Calientes and spent the night there. So all we really did was we went to the mall.
That was it.
Went to Carl's Jr. to eat while we were trying to find a place, an auto motel.
We were looking for an alternative place to stay.
Because the first auto motel I went to, the woman was not going to 4-hour sessions, period. And I'm like, bueno, pago para 6 sesiones. No, solo uno.
Yes.
What difference does it make who the hell you pay? Want to rent it to? I'm willing to pay for the next 24 hours, rack rate. Boom, done. Nope.
Oh, well, they said no.
They said no, so that we actually had to go and found the mall, someplace we could get something to eat, and then find out where we were going to spend the night. And hey, we actually got good. So
hey, I'll just say that gracias, Khalid. I appreciate that. Papa says he'll bring you cigars, baby.
I may take you up on that just in case I want, in the event I want to change the palette a little bit, because every once in a while it's nice to
Just have
to
something
have a
different.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna probably place an order and have it shipped to her sister when we go to Michigan, so that I don't have to try and mule them up there, and then I've got 2 weeks up there to smoke them, and hopefully.
The interesting thing is he used to buy his cigars for less than what they cost here in Mexico. And we just always just had this assumption that the Mexican cigars would not cost as much as they were in the US, but that is not the case.
Yeah, they are cheaper.
They're cheaper in the US.
Yep.
They're almost double the price here.
Yeah.
For the cheap ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now they are good cigars. I got to give them credit. I mean, I'm not getting bad sticks.
Machine wrapped and dried out.
No, I'm still getting machine wrapped, but the dried out part, no, because I mean, they take pretty good care of me up there at Bachazaro, which they should.
They should. Oh my. Oh, Richard, I'll never live in a humid city again. 2 years in Tampa. Oh my.
Then the coasts are out. I mean, I can tell you.
Merida, Progreso,
Veracruz.
Just the entire Riviera Maya region, Campeche, all of Veracruz. So
Puerto
Boca del
Escondido,
Rio.
Huatuco. I mean.
Yeah, the coasts are out, man.
Central Highlands.
Yeah.
If you want to avoid that,
Oh, check us out. Check us out. So, saw Pitbull and One Republic in Aguascalientes recently. Ooh. That sounds like fun.
That's why he's in Aguascalientes.
That's right, because it's dry.
In Tampa. Yep.
It's dry. Pitbull, yeah. I'm not as familiar with One Republic, although I've heard of them, but I know Pitbull. So that sounds like fun. I'm still trying to find the time when we will be in the same place and the same time as Nunca Jamás. I like Nunca Jamás, and I've been liking them since we first came to Mexico. And every time they come on tour, we are just gone of where they're going.
Or they're going to be there just after we leave.
Yes, but at least we got to see Cafanes.
Yeah.
Ow. Do I need to order the $80 no butt pillow butt thing?
I don't know. We've only got a few more weeks here, so.
Okay. I used to live in Harvey, Illinois. Yes.
Yep.
Do you know where that is?
Close to North. I'm thinking NWI. You're talking Northwestern. NWI. That's NWU, Northwestern University. Out. Oh, where NWI is.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, you can hear the wind. They can hear the wind. Of course, it's
quiet now, but yeah, I mean,
wow.
I
wondered if you guys could hear it.
It was blowing.
Oh, I listen to Tusk every day. My favorites. Tusk is one of those albums. I like songs on it, but I don't really listen to it the whole way through.
Tusk would have been a all-time classic if they'd taken the best songs and made it one album.
I guess.
There's that much good material on it.
My favorite Fleetwood Mac albums would be the White Album, self-titled, which is my favorite. That is my favorite. That even includes a couple of songs that came off of the Buckingham Nicks album. So, Crystal is one of my favorite songs by them, which will become a karaoke.
Monday morning.
Yeah. And then the Rumors album I also like, but I also like Tango in the Night quite a bit. That was like their big comeback in like 1986-ish, 87. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Lindsay's swan song.
And
as far as recording.
Fleetwood Mac was one of the best concerts I ever attended. And I like them a lot. When they did the dance tour, they came out to Pittsburgh at an amphitheater, and it had been that long since they had toured, so it was a really big deal. the traffic was so jammed to get to the show that the band delayed the show's start by 45 minutes. And I was at the very top of the grassy knoll, and I still couldn't see anything because the whole
You were on the
lawn,
grassy knoll?
basically, and the whole lawn was full of people, and it got to the point where I had a friend who was down below who called me down to at least take a look for a few minutes through her binoculars. But that's how much people were dying to see them in concert again. That it took.
Well,
They
yeah,
delayed
I
the
mean,
show just so people could get into the venue. It was just that jammed up. But I used to go
was
dressed.
that the PNC amphitheater out?
Well, it was Starlink at the time.
Starlink, yeah.
Starlink in Burgettstown.
Yep.
And then when they came to the Civic Arena, which I think was called the Mellon Arena at the time, that's where people were taking pictures and stuff of me in my Stevie clothes. Because I do that. I'm just weird like that. Mark, are you missing your ashtray?
Yeah. I'll get it. So you don't have to worry about bringing it tomorrow because there's no point in us walking around, carrying an ashtray. People think I'm going to break something out and smoke it or something.
All right. And if y'all like Stevie and Fleetwood Mac, see the band Rumors of Fleetwood Mac. Are they in Mexico? Because if they're not in Mexico, it won't happen.
There are some tribute bands that we have seen that, we saw the one for the Pink Floyd.
It was Aussie Floyd. It was the Australian Pink Floyd tribute show. And instead of a flying pig, it was a flying pink kangaroo.
Yeah. And
they were good though.
There was that, oh God, the all-female AC/DC band that we saw that one time.
I forget what they were called, but they were very good too.
Yeah. Which is not hard to imagine because if you think of Bon Scott's voice when, doing this and Brian Johnson, first of all, they're way up there and they're easy to just scream. So, those girls were pretty good. And you've seen the Genesis tribute band.
Oh, I've seen a few Genesis tribute bands, quite a few. I've seen Trespass. I've seen the Musical Box. And my favorite was Dance on a Volcano. The drummer from the Musical Box, I think it was, went out on his own to do Dance with a Volcano, because he is so much like Phil Collins. It's scary. The guy tried to do his own solo stuff, but he just sounds like Phil Collins.
Well, and then
he's so good though.
Then there were your friends in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, and then Abacab. My friends in Charlotte,
that we drove all the way to Knoxville to see one time.
Yes, we did. I used to have a Gina's Genesis gathering called G3 for a few years, and they were not together doing this tribute yet. If I had known that, I would have had them play in our backyard if I had to, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever it would have taken. But yeah, so especially my friend Cliff, the bass player, they are really doing very, very, very good. And they they need part of another cover band as well? Well, each of them does a little bit of something.
Yeah,
so the singer, Cliff does, I want to say some.
Was it Pink Floyd as well?
Maybe some Pink Floyd. I know he does some Metallica and he does Genesis. And I'm not really sure what the main lead guitarist does, but I know he gives guitar lessons in addition to the other stuff he does. And he's now got a sponsorship from a guitar manufacturer, which is great. He's really good. Then the guy who does keyboards for his other band, gosh, it's good. What's the name of the Howell? Thurston Howell. There's a cover band. They call themselves Thurston Howell, and they do yacht rock. So he's got his yacht rock. He also used to do dueling pianos at one of the piano bars in Charlotte. Yep. Well, he does singing for Abacab. That's the name of the Genesis band that they're in.
I'm thinking that he probably paid at the what's that? That was that bar that was up above.
Was it Howl at the Moon or something?
Something like that. Yeah, Bark at the Moon, something like that.
It was a dueling piano bar.
Yeah, it was right above Whiskey, Junior's Whiskey River.
Yes, and he used to play there. So like these guys, they're all around. They've been in the industry and even have had some recording contracts, but they just like to do these shows and they enjoy it a lot because they admire these bands and they're very good at it. So I would so totally say go see these guys. I mean,
nowadays, if you go see Leonard Skinner, you go and see a cover band because there's nobody left.
That's true. Oh, blowing through my life again.
Yeah, there ain't nothing much sentimental about that. That's like, God, I hope the door stays in.
Stevie Nicks is supposed to be here in Oklahoma in the fall. I love Stevie Nicks so much. Like I'm not, obviously, but there's always something about Stevie that's always bugged me. She's a bit of a hoe. I'm just saying. I'm just going to put it out there. She has been with so many men in that industry over time. And it's unfortunate when you're famous and then you hook up with somebody famous and everybody knows that you're together and then you're with somebody else another time and then another time.
Hey, she wasn't married. She could do whatever she wanted to do.
I know. And she prioritized her life in that way. She didn't want to have children because she was a musician. This was her life. And she didn't want to take that away from having a child and not be the best parent. I totally respect that. But the funny thing is that she says that the greatest love of her life was Joe Walsh. And I recently saw an interview with Howard Stern, and Stern asked him about that. You've seen the comments, and Joe was trying to be very, very nice. He's a gentleman.
Yes.
But you could tell that he did not reciprocate those feelings.
That was a one-way. That was, we're on tour together. Let's have a fling. And okay.
Exactly. But he was the love of her life. And at one point we saw Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles together. Give me a minute. No. Give me a minute. Give me a minute now. She was on stage with, did she open for the Eagles? Was that what it was? I can't remember anymore. But the funny comment that was coming out of me is, my goodness, she has been with 3/4 of the men on that stage.
I mean, no, she was the she was the opening act for the Eagles. It wasn't Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles.
No.
I would hate to have seen what the ticket price of that would have been.
No. It was a combo dual tour of Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles. Yes, it was. And this is why. Because on the stage that night was oh my God, McVie, because he was still there. Or was he not?
He's never left. John McVie's never left. He's been there. He and Mick Fleetwood have been there from the beginning.
No, I know, but he was like this for a little bit. Okay, but anyway, Lindsay was there, and then
Christine's the one, and Lindsay were the two that were.
So Lindsay was there. Mick Fleetwood was there. Don Henley was there. Joe Walsh was there. That only leaves John McVie that she wasn't with, and Timothy B. Schmidt, and so she was basically with like 3/4 of the men on that stage that night. I absolutely remember that.
What year was that?
I got to go back and think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, because we've seen both bands so many times between the two of us that it starts to blend and blur. For sure, I got to think about it. But anyway, it was pretty funny.
I don't know if I'd want to see him. I mean, I love Vince Gill, but no.
All right, so let's see. Chicago at Milwaukee Fest. Oh, speaking of Milwaukee Fest, I don't know if you're familiar with Daryl Sturmer. Daryl Sturmer has been basically a sideman for Genesis for 40 years and basically the main lead guitarist for Phil Collins. 45 years, 50. Has it? No, it hasn't been 50. No.
Steve Hackett left in 76. Next year is 26. So it's 49 years. I'll round up.
Holy crap. Well, thanks for that revelation. Jeez. Okay, so anyway, I just recently saw that Daryl Sturmer's wife had passed away, and she had an illness or something. And I thought that was kind of sad because I got to meet Daryl a couple of times, and I did meet his wife once, and they were very, very nice people. But I know that he's played Milwaukee Fest.
Okay, he's in that area.
Yeah, because he's in that area.
And speaking of people passing on, Norm.
Oh,
George went.
Norm. I saw a really cool cartoon this morning, and it was him standing at the gates of heaven, and all these angels had their heads out going, Norm. I thought that was so appropriate. Oh, let's see. 200 cigarette limit, 2 liters of booze.
3 liters. And
oh, yeah, he says 3 liters.
And 25 cigars. And
why is 200 cigarettes okay, but only 25 cigars? I know you certainly smoke 25 cigars faster than 200 cigarettes.
Don't ask me.
Oh, my. What was the internet like for in Huatulco? Well, the internet's going to depend on who you have and what service. I think it was decent.
Yeah.
It was decent.
Where we were. I mean.
Where we were, yeah.
Again, it depends upon what service is supplying your neighborhood or your building or your house. I mean,
some of the people in the condo complex that we were staying in had dishes on the roof of their units.
But I think that was more TV.
It could be.
Yeah, because a lot of people down here, use that to, the dish TV and stuff like that, so they can watch regular TV. They don't use VC box, so.
And that is true.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any issues with our internet while we were there. It was pretty decent.
Yeah. No, we haven't had. I mean,
yeah.
Other than San Cristobal de las Casas, and quite frankly, for that month, we really didn't care because it was sort of a kickback month. So.
Hola, Tom. Spelling our names just takes too much work. M&G, so funny. Oh God, I got bit up by bugs last night. I got bug bites along my arms. I had something on my hand, and I can feel something over here. And it wasn't mosquitoes, because mosquito bites definitely look different. These were tiny. Maybe they were no-see-ums or something. And we had the screen closed, so they had to be small enough to get through the screen with whatever they were. We had no electricity.
We had no air was moving at all last night.
Air.
It was
so
just
hot.
It hung. The air just was like.
Yeah. Just back from visiting my mom and couldn't believe you can only bring 1 liter of alcohol back into the United States.
I think that's dependent upon how you travel.
Probably how you travel, what country you're bringing it from, maybe. And things have changed, maybe even the type of alcohol. I remember when I came back from France in the 80s on a foreign exchange excursion, that I was able to bring. They didn't say anything to me. I brought 2 bottles of wine with me. You okay?
My butt hurts.
His butt hurts.
My butt hurts.
He's all butter. Oh, let's see. Hey, Dave. Dave and Ahihik. As you get older, health issues. Why I live in Chapala for Medicare Advantage is great. That's true. That's true. A lot of people like to go there, and they have a very good medical practice there who is catering to U.S. citizens and probably Canadian citizens as well, working with the U.S. Health insurance plans. And, I know that they have multiple locations outside of Ahihik, but not everywhere. So it's a good option if you need to rely on Medicare Advantage. Now, so far for us, as long as I'm working and we have the money, we're just getting by paying cash for whatever we need, unless it's an emergency and then we get reimbursed through our Nomad insurance.
Right.
So it hasn't been so bad. I mean,
but we haven't hit 65 or the
we
Medicaid
haven't.
age yet.
And all the extra things that come with your age as you get older, the issues that arise. But I mean,
1 more year.
Yeah. We've paid 300 pesos for the 2 of us in total to have eye exams. We've paid probably the equivalent, I would say, of about $300 total in dental. Would you say that? My dental appointment for a filling was $35.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, mine was a little more, and then that doesn't include the CT scan for upcoming work.
And what was the CT scan? $50?
1,600 pesos.
Yeah, $80.
80 bucks.
You know, my broken arm was reimbursed by insurance, but the follow-up appointment with the ortho cost us about 80 or 90 bucks total.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of stuff. It was 500 pesos for the appointment, and then he did all this extra stuff. So that was about.
He earned his money.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like, so when we have these things come up, it's usually not that much, and it's easily affordable by us anyway. And but if we were to have an emergency, I would think that our Nomad insurance would cover whatever that emergency is.
Just you make sure you got a credit card big enough to put the bill on, because
Oh yeah, because you got to wait for reimbursement.
Yep.
Now I do believe that Lakeside.
that's different.
Lakeside Medical.
I'm talking about as a general rule here in Mexico, you need to make sure that you have enough room. Either a debit card with the amount of the money in the bank, or a credit card with that big of a limit to go here. Put 100,000 pesos on here.
But for day in, day out routine care, I do believe that they just take a copay. Like, you sign up for some kind of plan with them, and it's a copay.
Yeah.
The end. And that's very convenient, and it's good for somebody who's going to need a lot of regular routine medical care.
Which, as we age, that does start to increase.
Yep. I turned 65 in a couple of years. I didn't know you could use Medicare Advantage here. Got to research.
Yeah.
Yes, like we were saying, it's
check the Ajijic, Lake Chapala area. I think it's called Lakeside.
Lakeside Medical.
Lakeside Medical.
But remember, you've got to be someplace where they serve. So their basis is in the Lakeside area, in Lake Chapala area.
I think they're working on expanding out. I think that I heard the rumor, if I remember right.
I think they're in Merida.
And I think they were going to SMA. That basically places that have expat enclaves.
Yes.
So
yes.
which Queretaro, not exactly, but if you start thinking about the Zibata, Zakia, El Refugio, Juriquilla area up there, it wouldn't shock me if there wasn't a lakeside somewhere on that northeast side of Queretaro, because there's a lot of expats going there.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite there yet.
I didn't say, but I would say if they were going to, that'd be the area here in Queretaro that they'd go to.
I know they're expanding, so I hope that they continue to expand, because for sure we would look into that. Yeah. But that is not the norm.
I don't think they'd be going down to El Pueblito.
That's definitely not the norm. So you do need to make sure that you know where they are, and if you are targeting those areas.
And if you're doing that type of research, Richard, a great guide is the Mexico Relocation Guide. That's a great tool to be able to use to put everything together, because Mariana does a wonderful job of keeping everybody up to date.
Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
Oh.
I'll put it up. There you go. That's what he's talking about. If you happen to, we have it, and we used it a whole lot when we first got here for all the basic things that newcomers would use.
And the other side of the border. I mean, we used it a lot.
Yeah. And then we really haven't used it for a couple of years, but it's coming down to the point where we will again.
In about 18 months.
We're talking about getting the bank account. We're talking about potentially applying for credit places, getting a lease or buying, maybe get a driver's license.
And let's be for real. We're rapidly approaching the end of our 4-year adventure, which it's hard to even believe that, but it is only 18 months away, and we will be having to do permanent residency. So, and then once we drop anchor somewhere, we will be using the Mexico Relocation Guide, because a lot of the things that we'll suddenly want to do and look into and things like that, because we're settled in one town, that's where that's going to really come into play. So
yeah. So if you're interested in looking it up, that link that's there is actually also found down below the video. So you'll be able to, yeah, down there.
okay.
So you'll be able to just click it, and then that way you won't have to try to figure out how to type all that and put symbols and things in there. It gets a little complicated. Hey, Tom, what you up to now? I was proactive about meetup. Booked the last room, I think, at Inn Ahihique, only a queen bed, but you guys can stay. I looked at Inn Ahihique, and actually, yeah, there were very few beds left. So hopefully we'll find something.
And KJ and Craig are working on actually doing some hotel takeovers. I mean, I did find one place that,
it was too expensive. It would have been great, but he was like, we could do some of the things here. I don't want to do that again.
Well,
it's not that I don't love all you guys. I do, but the last one we did in San Miguel de Allende, we thought we were going to be able to get out of the house and go look at some stuff. We never left the house. We couldn't leave the house. There was always somebody there at the house. So no, I'm not doing another one of those in Ahihique where, let's do something here. No, we're not doing that. We're going to let KJ and Craig drive this, and they will do a good job.
I know they will.
Yes, they will. And thank you, Tom, for the birthday wishes.
NWI, Northwest Indiana.
Northwest Indiana. Okay.
Gary area.
All right. Tribute band Rumors of Fleetwood Mac are amazing. We've seen them. Okay. Close your eyes and you're at a Fleetwood Mac concert. Awesome. That's really cool. Hopefully Chicago makes it to PV. I'm just shocked that they're even coming to Queretaro. When bands from outside of Mexico come to Mexico, you can bet money they will play in Mexico City. And they may do 1 night, 2 nights, maybe 4 nights, but they don't really go outside of Mexico City.
Or they go to Cabo.
Yeah, they come in.
I mean, a lot of them go to Cabo because,
yeah.
Oh, that's right. They've got the mayor of Cabo down there, Sammy, and he gets a lot of acts to come.
I'm like, why is Chicago coming to Querétaro? Well, maybe maybe one of them's planning on retiring here. Who knows? Don't know.
I don't know.
It's just kind of odd, but I'm glad that they are. So
yeah.
For sure. Oh, good night, Andrew.
Night, Andrew.
Good night. We probably missed you already. Sorry. Suzanne, are you guys looking forward to your time in the U.S. soon? I'm going to say I'm looking forward to seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time. But based on my last trip, not so much.
Okay. There's 2 parts of it.
Yes, there is.
There's the visiting part
Yeah.
and getting to see people. Then there's traveling. 2 different aspects, but both are required to go do it. Looking totally forward to the visiting part and not looking forward to the traveling part. But that's,
pretty much.
It is what it is. And the best part really is that once we get through Dallas, then we're pretty good because we only got to, we got to go through the customs there when we come from Mexico, then go back through TSA, then, on to Detroit, boom, done, go.
We've basically booked 3 legs.
3 one-way legs.
So we've got a flight going to Dallas, then we have going to Dallas and then Detroit.
Dallas to Detroit.
And then we've got a flight coming from Detroit to Kansas City.
And through Chicago.
Through Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we come back, we'll be coming from Kansas City. And we kind of
have to do it. That's an easy one because you don't clear customs till we get back here in Querétaro.
Right. So that's kind of how that's going to go. And then in September, we've got another trip, which I haven't bought tickets yet for. And that's going to be interesting. I think what's going to happen is we're going to end up flying to Pittsburgh and then spending the night in Pittsburgh because we're picking up our granddaughter to take her to the beach in North Carolina. And I was hoping that my daughter would feel comfortable enough putting her on a plane in Pittsburgh to meet us at the beach, at the airport in North Carolina, but she's not feeling very comfortable doing that.
No, because I mean, we could have made sure that we were in Charlotte,
Yeah.
3 hours before.
Yeah. But she's
Put
just
her on
not,
that, but
she's never done that. She was too concerned about putting her little girl, who will be 10, by herself on a plane. So we're like, okay, we will fly to Pittsburgh. We're going to stay the night, and we're asking her to bring our granddaughter to us. And then all three of us will then fly to the beach.
mm-hmm.
So that's going to be kind of like we're basically booking 2 plane trips for ourselves.
One, yeah. And I mean, there was no way we could feasibly make 4 flights in one day, because it would have been Queretaro to Dallas, Dallas to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh to Charlotte, Charlotte to Wilmington. And, one of those is delayed, we're toast.
Yeah.
So,
That's fine. That's fine. We're going to stay at whatever that is, close to the airport.
Well, and you got to go get some Permane Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Permane Brothers is okay. It's not bad. If only we were close to DeLalo's.
No.
I know. We're not, and we're not going to be.
No, that's 90 minutes one way.
I know. Even our youngest daughter, she messaged me just the other day, and she's like, I'm almost out of this Antolina red wine vinegar that you got me. I can't find it anywhere online. Where did you get it? I said, DeLalo's. I looked, they don't have it. Well, then I started digging in, and what I found out was that, I don't know, 2018 or something, DeLalo's basically trademarked Antolina.
And then change it to DeLalo's.
And then I think what they did is they just took the name Antolina out and just put DeLalo's on it, because there was a company in New Jersey who was trying to trademark.
They were trying to do something close.
Similar.
Yeah.
So I told her, just look, Mark said he looked it up, 4.9 out of 5 stars for DeLalo red wine and vinegar. And she's like, oh, thank you.
If it's not the same, it's probably pretty damn close.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting some things like some lemon blend. I got to get some lemon blend, right? We'll get that at Giant Eagle. Speaking of Pittsburgh, Mark found an 80s cruise by Royal Caribbean. Now, we looked at the prices and it ain't going to happen. But Donnie Iris is on this cruise. He is like he's a Pittsburgh legend. And I have never seen him perform live ever. He even used to do the Pittsburgh riverboat cruises as he got older and was slowing down. He's going to be on this cruise. And I'm like, I would go on that cruise just to see Donnie Iris.
And his band is Donnie Iris and the Cruisers, because that's they used to do the riverboat cruise. And
No, they just called them that. That's what they were, Donnie Iris and the Cruisers. I don't know if it had anything to do with actual riverboat cruises. He did the riverboat cruises when he was slowing down, and it was later in his later years.
Yeah, but everything before that was just Donnie Iris. Didn't have a band with it.
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. I saw it just said Donnie Iris.
Anyway, I was like, I would be in the front row and I would sing every word, and he would know that I was from Pittsburgh because I know every word. But the cruise is ridiculously priced. And of course it would be, because it's the price of a cruise plus
the talent,
which we're not going to spend that much.
No.
So ain't going to happen. Hola nuevo. If you have a car registered in U.S., are you still responsible for carrying U.S. insurance? You are, unless you import the car. Yes. You are responsible for carrying insurance, or you have to return your tags.
That's correct.
So what we did is, and not every insurance company will do this. I had Erie insurance for years and years and years, starting in Pennsylvania and then going down to Charlotte. They had policies in North Carolina. When I told them that we were registering the car in South Dakota, they could not cover us because they did not have coverage in South Dakota. Now, that was an annual policy. So then Mark and Paulette from Two Travelers in Mexico said that they had a State Farm policy, and they basically only paid on it twice a year for 1 month. And then they kind of put the policy to sleep, or they hibernated or something. So in South Dakota anyway, and maybe some other places, you can get a State Farm policy. It is 6 months at a time. You pay for 1 month, and then you ask them to either garage the car or something. And they basically, you don't get billed for the next 5 months. There is nothing to pay. And then they reinstate it, and you pay 1 month again, and then they put it back to sleep or whatever it is they do. So that's costing us, I want to say, about $85 twice a year, roughly, something like that. And it should be coming up again pretty soon. But I mean, come on, less than $200 a year, and it helps us keep our plates. They can't insure it in Mexico. They won't insure it in Mexico. And if we were to return to the U.S. with the car, even for a day, to drive it in the U.S., we would have to call them and ask them that day to reinstate the policy. Yeah. So that's how that works.
Sorry, Bud had to take a break.
But he got a butt.
Hey.
But eye exams are free with Costco Mexico membership. Yes, I have heard that. We went to an ophthalmology center.
Yeah, we were one of the things we were concerned with is neither one of us has had any type of eye exam in
at least 3 years, maybe longer.
Probably 5.
Okay.
Because we didn't get anything done the last 2 years we were there in Asheville area. So it'd been almost 5 years, and with both of us getting a little older, we thought that we needed something more than just an optometrist exam. We wanted to make sure that everything.
Yeah. In Merida, a little over a year ago, I ended up with a floater in one of my eyes. And I read up on it, and they're not a cause for concern, and usually will go away on their own. Like, it's just proteins, and they'll just dissolve on their own, except that here we are over a year later, and it has not gone away. So one of the things you need to get looked at is your retina, because what happens is if the retina starts to pull away and detach, little fragments will break off and float around in your eyes. And I really wanted to have a medical doctor review and make sure that everything was okay. And boy, did they.
Oh, they did.
They really did. Mm-hmm. For 150 pesos, not only did they do an exam, but they did 4 or 5 additional exams after that and never charged us anything.
No, it was very thorough and everything else. And the glasses were, I think I paid basically almost 1,800 pesos.
I don't remember right now.
No. But yeah. About 1,800 pesos per set. So, I'm not gonna argue. Hers were like
mine were a little
2,400 pesos per, because she put a lot more of the coatings on.
I got everything.
And
everything. Blue light, anti-glare, polarized.
and the reason I sort of was abstaining from a lot of that was the glasses that I was wearing. I've noticed that all those layers of protectant, they were starting to separate, and it was making it very hazy and hard to see. So I was
they were peeling.
Okay, they do this last this long. We're going to bring your ass back in because your glasses aren't going to be worth looking out of anymore. So
yeah, but they did do a lot of testing on me, and if you think about it, 150 pesos.
$7.50.
Yeah, they not only did I get the optometry exam, they also did all the other stuff, the glaucomas and the eye drops and
astigmatism
and particularly they were really concerned about the floaters, and they did thorough. They did the type of exam where they put anesthetic on your eye so you don't feel them putting a big old glass thing on your eye so they can look around inside. Yeah. It was different, but it was a very good exam, and they were very thorough. So I felt comfortable going there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where's your cerveza tonight? For real? Where are your cervezas?
Every once in a while, I just gotta take a break.
He's purging. Cleanse. It's a cleanse.
Yeah, well.
I can't wait until New Mexico full time, and probably forever. I intend to drop my dental, RX, and Medicare C because I will save hundreds a month and pay out of pocket.
No, I agree with that, Tom.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, some people who truly are on a very, very limited and fixed retirement income would not necessarily feel as comfortable as we do about just saying, oh, yeah, we'll just pay out of pocket. And I get that. I totally get that. Because if you don't have the bankroll in the bank for the emergencies that come up and things like that, that's a scary thing to consider.
Yeah.
That you're here and you don't have a way to pay for it. And you know what? You better pay or you will not get treatment. That kind of thing.
That is true.
We are very fortunate that we are in the position that I am working and I make a very good salary.
And we got one credit card that if push comes to shove, here you go. Yeah. Just put it on that.
You know, and anything extra that we get at the end of the month, we've been banking because the whole intention was to save up as much as we can so that perhaps we could buy a house if we wanted to buy one. So that's the plan. So we're very fortunate. We realize this. We don't try to.
If we want to buy,
I mean,
we still haven't made up our mind if, find the right house, just rent. We don't have to worry about, whatever. We're playing this by ear.
We, for 3 or 4 months, we were living on credit cards because I didn't have a job and the money that I had saved from the last job started to run out. So it took almost
5 months, 4 months, 5 months,
December, January, February, March. Yeah. The end of March, I got the cards paid off again. So now we're back to banking and saving. So we're fortunate in that way. And we realize it. And we're also fortunate in that we could afford, although reluctantly, we could afford very overpriced Airbnbs where a lot of people could not.
Several times. We paid some overpriced.
Yeah, we have.
We've splurged.
We splurged. Yeah, we splurged.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to eventually getting to that point where we just have a regular rent or something, Good to know about Lakeside, Ajijic, and SMA is not too far. Yeah.
I don't quote me, Richard, on the SMA, but if in the back of my brain, I thought I heard something about that they were expanding into that area.
And I thought they said Merida too.
I'm not sure.
Definitely look up that place online, Lakeside Medical, and see what areas they service.
But I think if I remember, it may have been Ernie or somebody mentioning that they were heading in that direction. And
I think it's brilliant. They know they've got clientele that need this service. It's a brilliant idea. So I know how you feel needing a pillow to sit on at work. I have a big ass and I need a pillow sometimes at our kitchen table. Here's another thing that a lot of people don't realize about Mexico. The furniture is typically not that comfortable. Just saying. It's usually really hard. Or it's very, very short and low to the ground, so it's hard on your knees.
You can get good furniture.
You can.
But the problem is when you're in Airbnbs, these people are not going to put great furniture in for people who are coming in because
they're going to tear it up.
They don't. It's not mine. Not everybody treats it like we do. So because it's one of those things. Is we get closer to the end, we are starting to shop more mentally. Not buying stuff, but mentally.
Things that we want.
Right.
What we want. Recliners. Recliners. That's his number one. But the thing is, even with recliners, the way he sits in them, his bony little narrow butt, he actually buckets the seats before long.
I do.
And I don't understand it because I weigh more than him and I don't bucket seats.
Yours are spread out.
Yes, I know. I have a big butt.
Just,
And I love you. I don't hate you for saying that.
I thought I said that very nicely that you do. You spread it out over more.
Gina got a big old butt.
Yeah.
Mark ain't got a big old butt.
No.
To the butt. To the butt. Hola, Alfredo. Hola. What's this? Just signed a year lease here in La Paz. All right. Took a year, but we finally made it.
There you go.
Did it take a year just to find the right place? Is that what it was?
Or to get down to La Paz. I mean, hey, we're 2.5 years in and we're still doing this game. So
I know. Thank you for the birthday wishes, Isaac. Believe it or not, Chicago played my high school senior year. That is just incredible. That is just incredible. Yes, it was a great school. That's so amazing. They were probably called the Chicago Transit Authority at the time too, huh?
Well, Junior went to a privileged school.
Junior.
Inside joke, folks.
Yeah. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. What does that mean?
No.
Did we miss something? Wonder if we missed something. Oh gosh, that's a story to hear. I would love to tell it and show it if this thing would stop being weird. There we go. That's a story to hear when we see you next. Chicago at high school.
Well, I mean,
I'm a man,
because that was off the first album. Everybody had to start somewhere.
Oh my God. Tomorrow I'm going to be up and dancing. I am. So fun. So fun.
Yes.
What?
I'll be watching the phone going, yes, because the Canes are going to kick the Panthers' butt.
Oh, we're going to miss that game.
I'll be monitoring it on the phone.
All right. It was an amazing school, very progressive. I think I graduated last in my class. The rest are brain surgeons. Oh my gosh, how funny. How funny. Let's see. So, and there we go. No, they were actually the real Chicago Saturday in the Park. So they weren't Chicago Transit Authority yet. Dang. All right. Saturday in the Park. That's
he's not that much older than I am. So yes, they had changed. I mean, it was in the 60s when they were Chicago Transit Authority. By the time I think 71, I think it was either the second or third album, they changed from Chicago Transit Authority.
Well, that's why I thought it was Chicago Transit Authority, because
what I'm saying is Tom's not that much older than I am. So when he in high school, he could have gotten it either way. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think we're actually at the end. The show is at 10 p.m., so we might have enough time to watch the game. What time are they playing?
Hold on. The show doesn't start till 10?
Yeah.
The game's at 6.
Okay, so here's my understanding about those tickets. The tickets I bought are in a section. It says nothing about what seats we have. So it is my impression that it's first to arrive, first to sit. And if it's anything like it was at that concert we went to in Oaxaca, even if you came on time and found your seat, a few minutes before the show started, they allowed a whole bunch of people to go down and fill lower sections. So if you weren't there yet in your seat, you lost it. So I don't know how this is going to work.
I mean, we're not in that lower section anyway.
We're in the upper section.
We're in the upper. So
we're in the upper.
The people who will be vacating would be the people in the upper going down to the lower. Just
if they do it that way. But I have a feeling that more or less, it's kind of like festival seating by group. So we either get there a little bit early and find some good seats, or we just kind of show up like other people and just take whatever we get.
If we leave at 8:30 after the game and get there by 9, we take what we get. I'm just,
What if we're in double overtime?
have fun, enjoy the concert. It'd be hard for me to leave double overtime. I'd be like, you'd be going, come on, we got to go.
Oh my. We visited 7 cities in a year. Wow. Yeah. So you were doing.
Yeah, we know that feeling.
We know it. La Paz kept calling us back, so we're going to give it a year and see how it goes. Very cool.
And that's the great thing, Alfredo. If you think about it, is if at the end of the year you go, this is home,
then you're
boom.
done. Then you're done.
And if you go, it could also have been this city. Well, ain't a damn thing from stopping you going, all right, we did a year here. Now we're going to go over here.
Yep.
And let's see. So, that's the beauty of doing this particular lifestyle. While it sucks, and there are some things that are drawbacks, the moving and things like that, especially, 7 times in a year.
Yeah.
We know how that goes. That's
yeah, you get tired, man. Yeah. You get tired.
I don't want to do this again. No.
The anxiety is already approaching with the packing here, and we've got some time, but okay. It'll be okay wherever we sit. Just being there is going to be great. Yeah, and I want to dance. Mark won't dance. I'm one of those people that when I would go see shows, especially in Glenside at the Keswick in Philly, I would get out into the aisles. Like, people get pissed off when you're standing in front of them dancing, understandably so, especially as the crowd gets older and they just want to sit comfortably and watch a show. So me and my friend Laura and some other people would get to the sidewall and we would dance in the aisle out by the sidewall.
Everybody wishes they could sit behind me at a concert.
Oh, I know. It's true.
I go to a concert to listen to the music.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I take it in and I just,
He is not hippie dance man.
God, no. It's
hippie dance man's a real person.
We've had people actually ask her, what's wrong with him?
Yes, they have.
Because
is he okay?
I'm just taking in the music, and that's what I do. So everybody gets, I'm not helping the band by giving them positive energy feedback. Sorry, but
see, and I'm in that crowd that does. If I'm enjoying the show, I want them to know how much I'm enjoying the show. And at the same time, if they know that we are enjoying the show, it pumps them up and they get a little more into it. So then you got this really nice, cool, circuitous, cyclic thing happening.
I don't help that.
No, he doesn't.
That ecosystem, that just, nope.
No, he doesn't. It is so true.
No.
Unless it is Garth Brooks or Jimmy Buffett.
Well, I ain't gonna be one of them anymore.
I know. Chicago Transit Authority at the San Mateo Fair. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. You guys have got to see that documentary. If you like Chicago, you have got to see that documentary.
The Terry Kath Experience.
Yes. His daughter, who was just a baby when he died, went around interviewing band members and other people who were part of the inner circle of Chicago. Part of it was just to remember her dad and learn more about him. Part of it was to track down his modified guitar.
The white guitar that had the 3 red stickers that were on it, and it was basically hollowed out, and he had cut. It was a Frankenstein, one of a kind that he had done. And
he had like a fender part from here and another part from over here.
And it was the guitar that he used to take when he and his wife would fly. He would buy 3 tickets because the rest of the guitars went, with all the equipment, and this guitar went in the 3rd seat. He'd buy 3 airline seats because that guitar went in that seat. So yeah, it's very it's touching. It's revealing.
Didn't know that Terry Kath's widowed wife
Was Kiefer Sutherland's wife.
Kiefer Sutherland married her. Yeah, so even he's in it. He's in the doc.
Yeah, because he was very influential, and I can't remember what her name is now.
No,
but he was very influential in her life because they were married. You know, she was still very young, and all the way through.
He raised her.
Yeah,
he was like her daddy, really, her stepdad. It's a very cool documentary, and it's fascinating as they interview other guitarists who come flat out and just say, I don't know how he did what he did. Joe
Walsh, you know, when he heard 2564, he went, I couldn't figure out how he made that sound.
No, I mean, like people who are guitarists were geeking out about how he did what he did.
And the best one was they were playing the Whiskey a Go-Go, and they just finished their set, and they're backstage, and none other than Jimi Hendrix sticks his head through the stage, the dressing room door, looks at Terry Kath and goes, "You the motherfucker," and left. And I mean, it's like, okay.
Jimi Hendrix.
When Jimi Hendrix says that, it's like, okay.
So fun. Oh, yay. I got dance partners. Awesome. So cool. Yes, we're going to dance to Chicago. When they do the slow stuff, we'll sit down. But, you know, when they start tearing it up with all that early 70s stuff, oh, yeah, we are going to be doing some dancing.
Yeah, the stuff that Terry Kath was involved in before Peter Cetera started writing everything.
Yeah. Well, Peter sort of had to at some point. Where are we going to be in August? We're thinking about coming down before the meetup.
SLP.
SLP. Yes, we will be in San Luis Potosi.
Mm-hmm. And we have plenty of room, bud.
Yep. Have you been there, Tom?
No, I know he hadn't been there.
All right. Oh, hey, you know the Keswick. See? The Keswick is a really awesome venue. I like it a lot, although I have had some issues with some of their staff. But, you know, it's a good venue, and I've seen some good shows there. Donnie Iris. All right. Thank you. You know who Donnie Iris is. He turned 82. That is just, wow. I tried to explain to him that when he was doing the Pittsburgh riverboat cruises off of Station Square, that he was already kind of slowed down. This was like his retirement, and he would just occasionally do a show. And even then, I never got to see him perform. To hear that he's going to do an 80s, you know, Royal Caribbean cruise, I was like, oh, I've got to see Donnie Iris before he dies, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to happen because the cruise is too expensive.
And you think about this, that's the perfect type of venue for the people who are doing this, because you know what? You go, you play 3 songs, 4 songs.
Yeah, which is pretty much what's going to happen with a lot of those bands.
Right, and you know,
yeah,
I'm done. You know,
yeah.
I mean, so getting paid nice money, you know, because they're not going to play full sets because otherwise everybody be out there all day. And the ship wants you to move around and spend money, you know. So they're going to have just similar to that show we saw in Winston-Salem where they had the band up there.
Yeah.
And, you know, out came the 2 guys from Player, you know, out came Ambrosia, and the backup band pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah.
And
they just did their thing.
Did their thing.
Played
their hits. And
I mean, half of the acts on this 80 cruise was bands I really don't care about and I wouldn't have cared to see. And other half were, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. But when he said Donnie Iris, I was like,
I knew that getter.
Donnie Iris. I just love him.
I mean, Sugar Hill Gang. I mean, what's that?
Just one like song? What, one song? Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I know. OMD has enough to do about a half set, maybe. Okay, Men Without Hats. Last time I went to go see an 80s show where they had OMD, Katrina from the Waves, literally how they, and it had Howard Jones, and so anyway, Men Without Hats was one of them. The Romantics. Well, the guy from Men Without Hats is basically just this guy, a guy. He comes out with a glittery shirt. He's got all his long hair. It's all white now, pulled in a ponytail, and he's wearing shades. He comes out doing Safety Dance, which he does really well. And everybody knows that song, and it's a lot of fun. And he does this little S thing, and he does all this. And then he'll do Pop Goes the World, some other song. And then he ends his set with the dance mix version of the Safety Dance. Like, I've never seen somebody start a set and end a set with the same song.
Well, I did.
He was fun, though.
I mean, but that was when I had to see Mother's Finest that took over for Aerosmith because Aerosmith was so drunk they couldn't finish the show.
Oh, well, that makes sense, though. They ran out of material.
They played everything they knew, and it was like, do you want us to keep going? And we were like, oh, just yes.
Yeah. Want to come to SLP? Well, Ruby,
come on.
You know where we're going to be.
Yeah, we'll be there from second week in July to, I think this
July, August.
Third week of September. Second week is somewhere.
Be careful with the September. Be very careful with September because we are literally going to be flying out to go to the beach trip. Yes.
No, we'll be here.
But what I'm saying is we're not going to be in there very long in September. So
so the best bet is the latter half of July and all of August.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got 3 bedrooms. So.
Okay. Was able to see Jimmy Buffett 3 times. Yeah. I only ever saw him once. And that's because I knew he loved him. And I knew he loved them. So
15.
And that's the only concert until we did Garth Brooks. That was the only concert that I had ever seen him animated, where he was doing more than just sitting like this at a show.
I was channeling my youth.
I understand.
I mean,
that was an experience though for me. I don't like obsessively drunken, extremely large crowds.
When we first pull up to park,
my mind was blown. The tailgating that was happening 5 hours before the show was just, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
I had a good time. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but there were a lot of people there and there was a lot of tailgating going on. Every parking lot was full. It was just insane.
Hey, that's that drunk Caribbean rock and roll.
But the show was good, and I like him. I just never wanted to go to a show because I didn't want to.
The parrot heads can be a bit much. I mean,
it's overwhelming. But we had a good time, so liked it. Chicago played my school. Bonnie Raitt played my college. No, I haven't been to SLP yet. Curious if Mark and Paulette will be back from their cruise. I believe they are. Oh,
that's next year.
They have a new cruise next year.
That's
usually
2026.
Yeah, you usually have to plan those out at least a year in advance.
Yeah.
So, no, they'll be there for sure. And we're going to be hooking up with them.
Yep,
for sure. We'll probably do a collab or two. Don't know, and they're going to want to go out and show us. They really, really like SLP, and they were very eager to take us around and show us a lot of things. But we just didn't have the time because of my situation last time.
I would go back to that little mining town that they took us to in a heartbeat.
What was the name of it?
I can't remember it. We'll have to get with them, but that was a fun day.
It was cute. It was really cute.
It's a very authentic Mexican village that,
Yeah, I just can't think of the name right now, but it was fun. And I'm sure there's other things out there that we never got a chance to see. Definitely never saw one of the museums that they have.
No.
And I wanted to. We pretty much stayed just around the Jardín in the Tequisquiapan Colonia.
And a couple times down to the central area. And
I'm looking forward to checking out Tangamanga Park as well. So I'll do beach trip also. Well, Ruby, unfortunately, this was supposed to be the Gigi and Chloe trip, where Chloe goes anywhere she wants to go with her grandma. For
only the two of them.
And only the two of us. This was his mom's idea because his mom did this with her grandchildren. And that's how it started out. But I kept asking Chloe where she wanted to go, and she would come back with things like Paris. Well, we can't do that because she would need a passport. And getting a passport is a little difficult right now because the government requires, if the parents are separated, that both parents approve of the child being taken out of the country. Totally fair and reasonable request. Problem is, they're not really sure where her dad is right now, and he's been sort of MIA for over a year. So that wasn't going to work. So then I said to her, well, we could go someplace in Canada. I always loved going to Niagara Falls when I was younger, and there are a lot of really cool things you can do there, especially behind the falls. You could do the Maid of the Mist. You could do the jet boat down the gorge. You could take the gondola over the gorge. They got a butterfly conservatory. And I know a lot of things have changed since the last time I was there, but I'm sure most of those things are probably still there. And we could even go to Marineland if she wanted to, if it's still there. I don't know. But the point is I was trying to get her interested in going to places that she normally would not get to go with her mom. And I thought of that. I also suggested Toronto, where I've never been. I've suggested New York City. We could go to, the Statue of Liberty and things like that. Different cities, Chicago. I even told her if she wanted to stay close to home, we could go do a whole bunch of things in Pittsburgh. We could go to Phipps Conservatory, the Cathedral of Learning at the University of Pittsburgh. We could go to Carnegie Mellon Science Center. There's a lot of stuff to do. Heinz History Center, whatever. Aviary. There's just lots. She comes back with Las Vegas. Okay, we could go to Las Vegas. When you're an adult and you've never been to Las Vegas, those casinos are pretty impressive and awesome.
You're 10, you don't get to see that much of it.
No, but you can see the outside of them.
No, yeah.
They're cool. They're cool. The Luxor, New York, stuff like that. They're cool. And you can go inside.
Yeah, you just can't go on the floor.
You just can't go on the floor. And I said, we could do that. Then she says, do they have beaches? No, honey, it's in the desert. Okay, that immediately eliminated it. So it became apparent she really wants to go to the beach, is what she really wants. So then I started looking at beach houses. Now, I'm sorry, his mother has spoiled me. I will not go to this beach if I'm not on the damn beach. I just won't do it. That's his mom's fault. I'm spoiled now. Well, let me tell you, even in September, 4 or 5 days at one of those houses is about $2,500 to $3,000. Yeah. And so I reserved a place. It was just going to be me and her. But these beach houses are also huge. They're intentionally huge so
to
that
offset costs.
So families can share the expense, right? Well, it's like a 4-bedroom place for me and a granddaughter. Next thing you know, I'm looking at him going, you want to go? What?
No. Wrong order.
Wrong order?
Wrong order. You then Lexi and Shane were going to come.
Lexi and Shane.
Our youngest and her common law husband.
Because they haven't seen Chloe in a while, and Chloe would like to see her Aunt Lexi.
And so then it was like, because I didn't want to impose or anything else. And then it was like, well, hell, if Lexi and Shane are coming, Chloe's going to be there.
Yeah.
Well,
you might as well come too.
I might as well come too. And then the middle daughter is also in North Carolina. And it was like, I was talking to her. I said, we're going to be at the beach. I'll be there.
Yeah. So basically the trip for two
is
Gigi and Chloe is now turned into
full house.
All the daughters, of course, not the oldest. She's going to be working in Pennsylvania when this is going on, but it's going to be the daughters, probably daughter's boyfriend / common law husband.
Common law husband.
We're calling him common law husband because it's been that long.
Well, by law, yeah, they're common law now.
I think it has to be 7 years.
Thought it was 5.
I think it's supposed to be 7.
No, whatever.
I could be wrong, and the rules.
They're getting
could be
close
different.
either way.
I know, but yeah. So you can do this beach trip, but you can't stay with us.
That
so
one
sorry.
we don't have room.
No, we got too many people.
We started out with too many bedrooms, and now we're sitting here, and the middle daughter was like,
well, and I have to work while we're there.
Yeah, and the middle daughter was
on top
like,
of all that.
I don't care if I got a bed. Put me on the couch. She goes, I just want to come see you guys. So
so maybe if we're lucky, we'll get to see another granddaughter. Don't know.
I don't think so. But
wait, back it up. Stuff rolled on me. Oh, hey, Bruno, you're good. Thanks for coming. You didn't really miss much. Just us talking. Mining town, Real de Catorce.
No,
that's not it.
No.
I just can't think. We have a video on it. I just cannot think of what it's called right now.
And I can remember the letters because we actually did a picture in front of the letters, and that's. I can definitely go, no, it's not that. But can I remember what the letters say? So how do I know it's not?
You know what? And the stuff that you buy there, see, they're not marketing to tourists and gringos. They're marketing basically to locals and local people who are visiting locally. And so they will put products and things out for sale that you would not believe the prices.
I mean,
very affordable.
Yeah. I mean, Paulette was, they had some nice cow skulls that had been adorned and everything. And the last one that she had bought in San Miguel de Allende. And so she's wonder if this is going to be cheaper than what it is in San Miguel de Allende.
Yes.
I went, it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. And
it was like almost 1/4 to 1/3 the price. Yeah. And she was like,
because they're not, like I said, they're not looking.
They're not gringoizing it.
No, they're not. It's the things that they're selling there. And they had some cool stuff.
A lot of very good artisan arts were there. And the other cool part was there were a lot of kids that were just in families that were having fun and playing.
They were so cute. So cute. And we got food and the food was good. The drinks were good. The atmosphere, the family feeling was good. And all the artisan stuff was really cool. They even had a clown walking around entertaining kids.
Yep.
I mean, it was just a really fun day, and it was very, very, very local.
Oh,
so
it's about as authentic Mexican as we've seen, probably.
Gina, Maid of the Mist, Cave of the Winds, Niagara Falls, love it. I mean, if you were 10 years old and you had never seen anything like that, I would have I can't believe she didn't choose that. Even her mom, who I have taken there. I have taken my kids there. And even her mom said that was really one of my most favorite places that we ever visited. She couldn't convince our granddaughter to choose that as the destination for the trip. And I was a little sad because I love Niagara Falls. And
I even did the jet boats that did the rapids, and that was.
We used to go to Niagara Falls so much, so frequently that we used to go to the Niagara Museum, the one that actually had the mummies in it, that had Ramses' mummy sitting in it. We used to go to that one. There was a mall. It was called Maple Leaf Village Mall, and it was mostly under the ground, and they had amusement park rides inside the mall. Now, that's not there anymore because they tore that down and they built the Niagara Casino. We used to go up and down Clifton Hill, and we would do all the tacky things on Clifton Hill. The Guinness Museum, the Tussauds Wax Museum, the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum.
And you can go, the Butterfly Garden.
That Butterfly Conservatory was really cool.
And go to St. Catharines, and St. Catharines is stunning. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a beautiful little town on Lake Erie, and but she wasn't interested in it. I thought, my gosh, she would just be blown away, crawling in, walking in these caves, and then coming out on that platform right next to the falls. And then, of course, the Maid of the Mist, and then the gondola ride, which you would not do. I wouldn't go
over the gorge.
I wouldn't go through the caves to get to the
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Forgot. I like it there. I know there's a lot of chintzy, touristy, cheesy things there, but when you're a little kid, that stuff is fun. So I don't know. That would be a special trip for you guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
is.
it's an opportunity for us to see 2 out of the 3 daughters, our granddaughter. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that.
I'm going to teach her how to hunt for shark teeth, which I haven't been able to do since we left the States because I haven't found a place that has shark teeth yet. Definitely do the beach house. Life is short. Exactly. Why do I want to be 1 or 2 rows back from the sand when I just want to step out with my coffee and go, oh, the ocean? That's just, your mom did that to me.
Hey, I don't even have to go to the beach. I mean, and I rarely do go down the beach. I can sit out there on the deck, have a cigar, and just take it all in and go.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
I'm good.
And even at night, just letting the water, the ocean waves,
and it's the same thing that we're doing coming up next month. Getting together with almost all my cousins, all of them,
right?
All of them. We're all going to be there. My generation. John, Nancy, Jeff, me and Amy. Yeah. Even the one from China. So, they're all 7 of us will be there.
Oh, this means there's going to be a ladder photo. The ladder photo.
Well,
yeah.
and fortunately, being the oldest, I always got to start at the back. And even now, none of them have grown enough that they get to take that position because I'm still the tallest one. But it's going to be good to see all of them, and my aunt and uncle and my mom, because out of that generation, out of the 6, we only have 3 left. So, and then the whole generation underneath us, and then there's the generation under them. So it's And
I get to do a little family tree stuff while I'm there for anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
It's always fun to do that stuff. And Jorge, hola. I love Fleetwood Mac, but it is not the same without Lindsay
or Christine.
I agree with you, and Christine as well. I agree with you.
Christine was the glue.
Yeah,
she was the vocal that held everything in place because what's the world song? World turning.
World turning.
It's hard to tell which one's Christine and which one's Lindsay. Because
they blend so well.
They blend so well, but yet when the 3 of them would sing, you just sit there and just go, wow.
And I recently, I don't know where I saw this, but it was a retrospective career history about Fleetwood Mac. And apparently, I found this almost hard to believe. Lindsay had a very explosive temper. And he and Stevie would fight and fight hard. And there have been times where Stevie would run from him because he was that violent that she was fearful. And at one particular incident at somebody's house, I want to say it was Mick Fleetwood's house, the band had gotten together for something business related. Mick basically told him, I think it's better that you leave.
Well, I mean,
because it was so explosive and
he had a vision for the music, and he was going to make it his way, which is how Tusk ended up becoming Tusk. Was that was he hit the home run with the White Album, and then followed it up with Rumors, and he was full of piss and vinegar because he was like, I can do no wrong. I mean,
well, and I like Lindsay's solo work, and I like him a lot. And his guitar playing is pretty.
I mean, there's a lot of musicians out there that are like. I mean, Don Henley is like that. The Eagles became the Eagles because Don Henley was like, "We are doing it this way, and this is how we're going to make it." And
Have you been to Quetzalcoatl? No, we have not. And I'm not sure if I'm familiar with where that is. Do
I don't
you?
know.
We do not. Where is this place? This mysterious, magical place that we need to see. Hey, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. I'm trying to show you. Thank you, and have a good night. Thank you for joining tonight. It is 7:30 for us. That would be 8:30 for everybody in the U.S. Just about.
8:30 in the Central Time. 9:30 where Tom's at.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I don't know.
It's time for Junior to go to bed because I know he's probably on about his third glass of white wine and yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh Lordy. We are not going to delay our Chicago concert because of Game 2 of Panthers and Kings. Just saying. I bought the tickets before they did any of this.
Before they'd have made the schedule and they'd have played tonight. Well, we may not have done the live tonight. Yeah. So.
Okay. I think that let's see. 6:30 here. There you go. 6:30 here. That would be what?
That'd be West Coast time.
West Coast.
We're on Mountain Time right now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
we are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are. When I have to work,
she works on Eastern time, so she sort of just keeps in that time frame. And
yeah, because
we have conversations. I'm like, yeah, we need to be here at this time.
It's hard for me to adjust, and whenever the time changes, it's even worse because it's like, when am I working? So basically, I would have to be online by 7 a.m., but now I have to be online by 6 a.m. so that I can be Pacific time. There you go. West Coast. Awesome. We figured it out. So I just don't. It's hard for me to think like that.
I do enjoy being on Mountain Time because for things like games and stuff, man, that makes it boom.
Yeah, and Isaac, happy birthday to your mama.
Happy birthday to your mama. I hope you have a good celebration.
Feliz cumpleaños.
See?
Oh gosh, guys. Oh, let's see. Junior be sleepy. Junior needs a bed. Not really. Only one bottle. Doing great. Wide awake. Gina is on my time.
Yes.
I have been. Yeah. So I'm so tired. I'd say probably about 9 o'clock. I am so totally ready for bed, like beyond ready for bed. And then I have to get up. I usually end up getting out of bed about 5:30. I try to get up earlier, but I end up hitting the snooze over and over because I'm so tired.
And there's been a few times where I've done it's 5 minutes to 6. It's what? It's 5 minutes to 6.
Yeah. Because I accidentally turned the alarm off. Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good day, baby.
I know. And then I'll come down at lunchtime and I might take a 15-minute cat nap after I eat my lunch. And then I might come down at the end of the workday and take another 15 to 30-minute nap. Because he goes up in the middle of the day and he reads his Kindle. So, he goes to sleep.
I read a third of the book today and then finally fell asleep and was sleeping so hard. When I woke up, and in the words of Jimmy Buffett, I didn't want to wake up, but looked at my watch and actually hit the reset on it because I was like, I woke up thinking it was morning and I'm like, 2:30? Hell no, it's not 2:30. It's too bright for 2:30.
Oh, hey, gracias. Yeah. I think we're looking forward to just seeing people we haven't seen for a while.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be a lot of traveling because of the way we had to do our flights and everything.
And we get a little bit of the U.S. food, and then that's always a good thing,
Taco Bell.
Well, we're going to be in Detroit. You've never had Detroit style deep dish pizza.
This is true. How is it different from Chicago deep dish?
The crust is more like the crust you like
Which is?
the pan.
Ooh, okay.
I know.
Okay, I like pan
I
pizza.
know.
I'm all about the pan pizza. Crunchy and greasy on the bottom. Oh yeah, that's what I like. And Ensenada, warmest day of the year so far, 77, 58 tonight. Okay. Surf
Can't
was
argue with
really
that.
good. That's
I mean,
nice weather, honestly, though.
That's like San Diego. They keep that year round. They just have that good.
That's good weather. That's comfortable. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. I think we're going to call it at 2.5 hours in roughly, because we really didn't have a subject for the night and we just wanted to hang out and just chit chat a little bit. So we're going to say adios.
We just did a Led Zeppelin.
What's that?
We rambled on.
Now's the time. The time is now to sing my song. Oh my goodness. We will be back again in 2 weeks. Guys, I just don't know when the next video is going to come out. I have video of the eyeglass experience. I have video of the dental experience. And then we have some topics that we wanted to do topic videos on where we just talk. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know when that's going to happen. And it's even, I don't know. I'm trying. Yep. So for sure, 2 weeks, we'll do another live on a Wednesday. And if I can get more videos out, then I will. Good night.
Unless the Canes are playing that night. Because if 2 weeks and they're still playing, that's the Stanley Cup Finals. We may have to move it. I'm just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good for pointing that out, because Caniacs must watch, and my guy stretching cough. That would be Svechnikov, but my nickname for him is Stretching Cough, and he has been playing really, really well.
Yes, he has.
So
until last night.
Sure. Does this mean that I have to drive to Detroit to see you? Probably not going to happen.
No, we'll see you in SLP.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. We will see you again in 2 weeks.
Dos semanas.
Hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And for those that are still in the U.S., have a happy Memorial Day.
Go Canes.
Go